Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another Alpha X production brought to you right here on twitch.tv/AlphaXSC2. My name is Rushy, and I am looking forward to bringing you Group B of the Into the Alpha X series. Oh, let's see. So the beginning of our pro circuit for right now, going forward into yet a new season. We got a lot of interesting stuff to talk about with our Pro Circuit 3 here for Into the Alpha X, but lots of fun things to do alongside it. Of course, we have a wonderful set of players here already ready to go and putting together our groups and games for today. But of course, I'll try and do a little bit to share with you information about this current event as we are waiting for our picks and bans to go underway for this Group B. See if I can get, I can get this solved here for us. Oh, look at that. Look at that beautiful set here. So we are going a little bit out of order here. Today at Alpha X, the beginning of the alphabet starts with the letter B because we are going to start with Group B in our Pro Circuit 3 today. It's going to be all Terrans and all Protosses. Cure, Dream, SOS, and Zound. Now, lots of good matchups happening today. Of course, this is all Korean StarCraft today. The Pro Circuit is a $1,200 prize pool. That's a lot of money. I mean, we're talking about, that is like on the level of ESL money. That's on the level of DreamHack money. And it's a good set. So we're going to talk a little bit about the layout of this series, but we are going to get into our first matchup. It's going to be Zound versus Cure. We're going to start with two TVPs today, excuse me. I'm just so desperately hoping for the Zerg influence here in these matchups, but unfortunately, not going to get it today here on the Into the Alpha X Pro Circuit 3. So glad to have all of you joining us this morning. This is a great opportunity, folks. Add this link, twitch.tv/AlphaXSC2. Throw it in your Discords. Let your clans know that we've got some high-quality StarCraft 2 action coming your way right now. So we're going to go ahead and jump on in. Let's go ahead. Oh, my goodness. You would think that I would have done a good job of cleaning up logos here. Not the case. That's okay. You know, sometimes in life, we just have to wing it. Spawning in the top left of Submarine. It's our blue Terran player. Playing for Jin Air Green Wings. Oh, wait, no. Dragon Phoenix Gaming. Give it up for Cure. And spawning in the bottom right. Our red Protoss player playing for Alpha X. Give it up for Zound. All right. So we're starting on Submarine today, which is kind of a interesting place to take ourselves in the beginning of a series. Not necessarily that common to see happen here. But of course, folks, the Into the Alpha X Pro Circuit is a GSL-style tournament. We've got 16 wonderful players that will all be fighting for a $1,250 prize pool. This is a GSL-style tournament here. We're just going right into the round of 16. We waste no time. Code A qualifiers? Psh, no. Get them out of here. Round of 24? Psh, no. Get it out of here. We go right into the round of 16. All of these group stages are a double elimination, best of 3 matchups. Top 2 players advance on to the next round. Just like your favorite GSL qualifier. and your favorite GSL season. We've got some really great players coming up here for this particular event. I mean, we're looking at 6 Protoss, 6 Terran, and 4 Zerg. Of course, exclamation point bracket or exclamation point B in the chat. You can find access to the Liquipedia page where you will get to see all of this information. But of course, things are already getting a little interesting here for Cure, as Cure's dropped a bunker on the back side of this Nexus, and he is going into his Marauder tech really early. So I find that rather interesting. Only now is Zound going to realize that the bunker is actually existing. Concussive Shells is just about to finish up, which is going to make this really kind of awkward and interesting for Zound to try and deal with. Cure in a position where he's just going to throw down another gas. He's going to pop down another barracks. I think he's willing to try and commit a little bit behind this. Now, with the completion of the shield battery, that is going to give this Stalker another lease on life. I don't think that he's going to be able to get across the map here before Zound can take it down, and especially not with a second Stalker on the way. Marauders are coming anyways, though. All right, we got Blink on the way. It is just going to be a pivot onto more bio here for Cure. Cure going to throw down the Stim Tech. Now, he is slightly worried that Zound is going to push back across the map, but honestly, there really isn't that much here army-wise for Zound. Zound taking the economic route here, getting his probe count high, is throwing on those production facilities. But he isn't going to commit into any major aggression at this point. I think both players actually a little worried that the other one is coming across the map once again to deal a little extra damage. But of course, we can see both players just taking it real slow and simple at this point. We do have +1 on the way. Cure. And we are going to see Zound starting to get a little bit of aggression in the cards. He's got that Warp Prism on the way. Pretty decent amount of Stalkers being warped in at this point. And he's at 7 right now. I wouldn't be surprised to see him with 1 or 2 more Warp-ins getting really aggressive. But of course now the Warp Prism is going to go out, and that is going to trigger Zound to move out onto the map as well. All right, here come the last 4 Warp-ins prior to the engagement here. I mean, this is a bit of a scary moment for Cure. Cure needs to reposition. That Blink is going to be very crucial to help Zound be effective here, but fortunately a good amount of bio will be able to shove Zound back at the cost of 1 bunker. I think that's a pretty okay trade, all things considered. Now that's not going to be as helpful here. Stalker's going to be able to blink up into the main base and immediately deny combat shield. I guess I didn't see. Oh, I mean, it's right there. I'm like, where was the observer at? Literally right there. So that is going to deflate Cure's army just a little bit here. That +1 is going to finish up already pivoting into combat shield once again. It is going to delay the push just a little bit. So that's worth noting at this point. Got more gateways on the way. We've got Robotics Bay coming down so that Colossus Tech will be working, coming into play. And Cure is just continuing to double down into his production here. He does have mines on the way. It's just more bio at this point. Zound is dragging Cure's army out onto the map where They will not be able to respond very well to this aggression here. He's going to just drop 4 of those zealots right into the mineral line. But there are enough units that he doesn't want to risk that without charge. So charge is about to finish up. I wouldn't be surprised to see Zound dive back in when charge completes. But Cure's going to be ready to go. He's got a sense that that may or may not be coming. It's just going to be a matter of whether or not Cure can stay on top of it and see it come down. All right, so we've got an armory on the way. We've got a second engineering bay coming as well. So those bio infantry upgrades going to continue to expand. Cure's in a great place supply-wise here. I mean, he's up on workers, he's up on army. Zound kind of sensing a little bit of urgency here. Get some great force fields down onto the front side of this army. Does pick off a few of those marauders, cleaning up that count just a little bit. But he hasn't gotten the damage done that he needs to just yet. Only 1 Colossus, though. And there's no extended thermal lands as well, which is making this engagement a little bit more difficult than it needs to be, because it's going to allow Cure to get on top of this army so much faster. But Zound making the most of it, doing a lot of good zoning, keeping those Vikings at bay. Zound does rotate down just a little bit to put pressure onto that third base, and immediately the third base is lifted and brought up to the main once again. So he will at least limit his opponent economically. Even though the income advantage is in Cure's favor, taking away the third base potential does make that a little bit better for him. Okay, looks like we're going to get that Zealot Warp Prism play once again. There is plenty of bioforces here. Zound's in a position where he can cut a lot of this army off, especially at the ramp, but it's going to take a great sacrifice. Now we're going to see if Cure has got the multitasking in his system today, having to deal with zealots in a lot of different spots. Now it's going to be this run by that gets a lot of damage done. He's going to be able to pick off so many workers. I mean, Cure's not even looking at it right now. Finally, now he pulls the SCVs, but it comes at the cost of 14 workers. I mean, that's an excellent grade. Meanwhile, back behind it, Zound's able to get his probe production going once again. He has those disruptors on the way. In fact, he's pumping them out 2 at a time. Tossing down a second forge here to add on to those ground upgrades. We got 1-1 on the way. +2 is about 2/3 of the way done for Cure. And adding in disruptors to this army is going to force Cure to continue playing even more aggressively. It's going to make him pay attention to the splits. He's going to have to constantly look at his army. We've got a Dark Shrine going down. Of course, we've been seeing this a lot in TVP, where the Protoss is able to just warp in across the map all over the place and make things insanely difficult for Cure. Channeling their inner Terran and going, oh, do you want to divide me across 4 different places on the map? Sure, I'll do the exact same thing to you. But it does look like Cure is going to move out onto the south side of the map here. He is going to try and see if he can deflect any of these incoming drops. It's super reasonable to see these coming. Of course, Zound going to try and draw some attention here in the center with that scouting zealot. How many disruptors is he at right now? He's at 5. 5's a really reasonable number. Well, here goes the first run in. The mine does a pretty decent job of softening up that army, but the Vikings are going to be able to get on top of the Warp Prism. That's where the real damage is going to live, although I mean, these zealots getting a lot of work done in the third base. And on top of this, Cure didn't really get a whole lot accomplished. 5 workers go down for Cure. That worker count is now finally even. This is going to be the scary drop here that is going to make or break Zound at this point. But it does look like Zound's main army is rotating down to deal with this. Some great Stalker warp-ins here at the main, but oh, they're so slow. Those were not close enough. You're kidding me. I'm actually really surprised by that. That pylon was actually not attached to any of those warp gates, so it got a slow warp-in cycle. I find that fascinating and weird. Okay, so I think Zound was expecting to be able to clean that up, or at least to deal a lot of damage to it, but instead it's going to cost him a pylon. More than likely, if he's going to remake that pylon, he's going to put it a lot closer, because I too would have thought that this would have been attached, but not the case, unfortunately. So Zound going to have to just wind up and try to hit it again. Cure gonna wind up and try and hit the drop again, and I think this one is going to have some decent effect to it. Now the Stalkers in the third will be able to jump forward, but that's a big pylon depower here. 4 of those warp gates are going to be able to go down into deactivation for right now. There's not a lot available to actually warp in off of right this very second. He basically cuts that production in half. So Cure getting a ton of damage done here, and he picks up and leaves with most of it. He's just gonna rotate down to the third base and try and deal some more economic damage. And honestly, the moment that this gets dicey, he can just pick up and leave, but the Stalker's gonna be able to get great target firing onto the medevac. But here is the real engagement. And unfortunately, Zound wasn't able to get a whole lot of damage done onto Cure's army with just the drop force. And this is going to be a tough engagement here. Does lose one of the Nexi. Both of the Colossi go down. Those ghosts just too effective. GG is called, and Cure taking game number 1. Well played. Also, folks, good morning, everyone. I'm so sorry. My voice is just awfully gravelly today, so it's going to take a little bit of time for me to get warmed up. But thank you, everybody, for the follows. Daemonum Camo, subscribing for 4 months. It says, go Zound. Thank you. Hopefully it wasn't like, it was like, go Zound, not like go, get out of here. Go, get out of here. And of course, we also had Sniper saying, let's go Zound, subscribing for the 17 months. Thank you so much, everyone, for supporting Alpha X. Really do appreciate that love and support. We're going to go ahead and get ready for game number 2. Oh, coffee. Good stuff. Going to be going to Pillars of Gold for game number 2. Man, we've got like a potpourri of different casters here. We've got a Korean caster, we've got an English caster, we've got a German caster, we've got a Spanish caster. We have it all. We have it all here at Into the Alpha X. Of course, this is a partnership between Into the Clan and Alpha X. So we've got some really, really good, exciting things happening. Does Alpha X channel have Twitch partnership? I'm actually not entirely sure. Maybe? It's a good question. I'm sure Sushi knows. He's usually the guy with all the up-to-date information. I'm just the guy that tells you when probes and SCVs die and when people say GG. I know my role. I know my place in this production cycle. Sun Lily making us the amazing graphics. Sushi making the amazing decisions. Rushy typing GG. spawning in the bottom left. Up 1-0 in this best of 3. It's our blue Terran playing for Dragon Phoenix Gaming. Give it up for Cure. And spawning in the top right. It's our red Protoss player playing for Alpha X. Give it up for Zound. Rushy just boost him up. I mean, I can do some boosting on Twitch, but let's be real. My community of 50 people is amazing, and I love each and every one of them. But I don't know if we're in the place to try and boost a channel that has like infinitely more viewers. But I like the idea. I like to think that the small communities have big responsibilities when it comes to supporting the scene, and that's why we work hard. Not only here at Alpha X, but at other Twitch channels that may or may not exist. I don't know. But I have to say that we're gonna see how far Rushy's TVP is gonna go today, because this is probably my least knowledgeable matchup across all 3 races. I mean, of course, like as a Zerg player, I feel really good about like ZV anything. Mirror matchups usually aren't too bad because you can just take a look at the production and go, oh, well, that person has more Vikings than the other person. That person probably wins. But TVP, it's like, okay, now I need to like actually know things. Like, wait, he's building a stalker. Is that a big deal? Is that a big deal? Or is that a little deal? Wait, he built a Twilight Council. Is that a big deal? Or is that a little deal? But I'm learning, like, this is just going to have Blink. And if it doesn't have Blink, that's when we go, that's when we pog up. That's when we know stuff's getting real. Your only problem is Alpha X and Creighton are not really supported by Blizzard. I would not necessarily say that's entirely true. While Blizzard is not directly, like Blizzard's not cutting us a check. I mean, Blizzard is doing things to help keep the game alive. There's also not a lot of avenues that Blizzard specifically directly supports, right? And that's not a bad thing. I mean, they got big fish to fry. What I think is really cool is that there are a lot of other entities in the esports scene that see the value in organizations like Alpha X and in people like Creighton Olsen to boost them and support through sponsorships, being able to share revenue if we put together like some advertising for their product. I think that is where the success of this scene thrives most, which is a good thing. Unfortunately, Alpha X has had an opportunity to be a positive force in that scene, and honestly, a lot of it comes from viewers like you. Not to sound cheesy or like cliche, but if we weren't pulling in lots of viewers for these awesome StarCraft 2 matches, there wouldn't be any need for us to seek sponsorships. There wouldn't be any opportunities for us to do bigger and better things because there would be no audience. So honestly, give yourselves a little pat on the back for taking the time to watch some of these amazing productions and supporting your great communities like Alpha X. That is the best thing I think you can do in 2020. That does not directly involve money. Here's the second best thing you can do. Exclamation point Matcherino in the chat. Jokingly, but very serious. That Matcherino code, very, very important. But now I have to talk about the game chat because we do have yet another Blink timing aggression here. Now, on Pillars of Gold, this is a little bit easier for the Terran to deal with. That wall off doesn't cost as much money. It will cause a little bit more damage to those stalkers. And Cure able to get a tank down onto I'll call it the low ground. It's not the super low ground, but it is the low ground nonetheless. But it looks like Zaun wants to continue to get aggressive here, and I think he's going to be able to be effective with it. Does he have? Oh, okay, I mean, he's got a warp prism. He's going to have vision of this high ground, so he will leap on forward. That second tank already on the high ground. As I say, if Zaun's careful, he'll be able to scout that and see and go, oh, well, you know, maybe let's not blink up into the main. 'Tis a silly place. Oh, okay. I thought this aggression was done. I was going to go back and look at a macro cycle, but Zaun's going to actually shut Cure down for just a brief amount of time. And supply block him by killing off that entire wall. Okay, now four gateways are going to go down. I guess the last piece of it that I will say before we talk about this later is, of course, like we're never going to expect people to contribute their own hard-earned cash. But we're never going to say no if you do. Like, if that's where your passion lies, like my passion lies with contributing to the community by bringing forward some good StarCraft 2 casts, and I hope I do a good job in that to that end. But if you feel like, hey, you know what? $50 towards this prize pool to keep getting great Korean content, heck yeah, do it. No one's ever going to stop you. In fact, I will encourage you all the way. So, the biggest thing that you can do, though, is be present for these events, which is super cool. Anything you do above that is not only appreciated, it is very, very valued, and we thank you. Alrighty. Sellout Rushy deactivate. Here's what we have activating, though. We do have extended thermal lance going down, I think, in a little bit more reasonable of a time here. Zaun realized in game number 1 didn't have access to what he needed. Get out of here. I don't even know what EPM is, but I know I never want it. Okay, Cure is going to move out here. He does pick off the Warp Prism with the Vikings. Will find the Observer as well. I mean, he's essentially just... he's just going to deny all of the vision of his Protoss opponent. But once again, that extended thermal lance is going to be the biggest factor difference here between... game 1 and game number 2. So if Zaun's going to be able to make anything work out of this, he should be able to put this together at least a little bit better than he did in the first game. But as it sits right now, it is going to just be some aggression here at the third. Cure just going to try and siege up and get himself ready to go. Zaun in actually a pretty decent position here. Is getting a little bit of damage. Going to pick off 3 workers. But right now, I mean, Cure is able to swat that off to the side and just force Zaun back home. All right, scan forward is going to see that third base fully saturated on minerals. And it looks like this is going to be a big move-out potential here for Cure. Cure going to pull some boys to come along with these tanks. I think he's got enough to potentially make this work. What is Zaun going to see? Zaun's going to see all of this. He is a little out of position, though. He does need to try and get set up. If these tanks are allowed to get onto the high ground, I think that's going to make things more difficult. But Zaun is going to have to get on top of this. These tanks do need to get sieged, though. This is a good engagement here for Cure. The tanks are just far enough forward that they will be able to cause some issues here. Oh my gosh, the workers actually got all the way in. One disruptor shot is not going to connect with hardly anything. Grabs maybe just a couple of units, but all of those workers are going to go down on the backside of some Zealot Warpins here. 30 workers have gone down. I think Cure is in a rough spot here. These tanks are not far enough forward to be able to actually deal damage against the Stalkers and the Colossi of Zaun. So Zaun in a very good position has completely defended his third base, and it's come at the cost of 41 workers for Cure. This is very possible that we could go into a game number 3 here to see who's going to even out this series. I think that's exactly going to be the case here. Cure is just going to hemorrhage his worker count. Sure, the Vikings are good, but the tanks are still way out of position. If the tanks would have been able to get forward here and actually hold a choke, I think that would have been better, but Zound, with better timings and better aggression, will take game number 2. So that's going to bring us to the, that is going to bring us to the rubber match. We're going to get to see a game number 3. Very well played by our Protoss player from Alpha X. Yeah, I like the stimulating conversation about esports in general, especially as it relates to StarCraft 2, because people like constantly bring up, like, okay, what's the best way, and what's the best way to support a scene? Of course, obviously, there always needs to be that financial side of things, which is not surprising. I mean, things cost money, and money is good. But we have so many things that we can do as audience members and as just like passionate viewers of the scene in terms of showing up to events, supporting them on Twitter, finding the teams and the organizations that are putting together events, find ways to interact with their sponsors. Like for us, I'm going to talk to you very quickly about Matcherino. Exclamation point Matcherino in the chat. Go ahead and use those codes. We've got a lot of codes to use for this event, and that is single-handedly, at least for Alpha X, the best way to keep supporting these events. And on top of that, Matcherino's started using what are called sponsor quests, which you'll see an ad for here probably, probably after this game. I'll just go ahead and run it. But the sponsors that support Alpha X give us opportunities to say, hey, if you show off our product and get people to check out our Twitter, check out our website, we'll kick in little extra tidbits to your prize pools, which is super cool. Interacting with the sponsors is probably the best way to support those sponsors. And we're not asking you, like, you don't need to go out and buy a whole bunch of stuff. You don't need to go out and spend all sorts of money on different people. Again, if you do, like, that's cool. That's your prerogative. Like, please do that. I think that's awesome. But it's not required, because we know everybody's at a different place. Of course, we've been, like, dealing with a global pandemic. Everybody's at a different spot. But the best way to keep a scene alive is to stay involved. Also, Lucas, thank you. It's very, very kind of you. Now, let's go ahead and introduce our players here. We are on Death Aura. It's a bit of a smaller map, spawning in the top. Actually, you know what? Let's introduce our red Protoss. He just won, spawning in the bottom right. Our Protoss player from Alpha X. Make some noise in the chat for Zound. And spawning in the top left, our blue Terran player, playing for Dragon Phoenix Gaming. Give it up for Cure. But I think honestly, like the biggest thing that you can do is support those Matcherinos. Check out the Matcherino. Check out those sponsors. Be vocal, be public, show up to events, because as long as there are people watching, that is going to not only encourage sponsors to consider continuing support, but it's also going to make people like me who cast these events, like, let me be real. Like, I woke up early this morning. I went to bed a little earlier last night. I woke up early to cast this event just for fun. So I'm a teacher full time, so I don't necessarily make my living off of doing StarCraft casting. So I'm not like Zombie Grub, I'm not like Pig, I'm not like Artosis and Tasteless. I don't wake up and in the morning, brush my teeth and go, well, time to make another $1 million casting StarCraft 2. And it's a lot of, and again, I don't say that to pat my own shoulder, but it's a lot of people like that that help keep these kinds of scenes alive. I mean, of course, we've got a ton of people at Alpha X. Like, the moment I want to even talk about myself, I can talk about 14 other people that are doing twice as much as me at Alpha X to make this a great organization. And I'm pretty confident that for most of those people, like, I won't say for sure because I haven't asked them directly, but for most of them, I would imagine if asked, hey, what's one of the biggest things that you get out of doing this? It's just the sheer satisfaction of providing a quality opportunity for us to continue enjoying the game. Because I know that the people that work behind the scenes right now for Alpha X, like, are in the chat, like, watching this game right now, and they're getting the satisfaction of, wow, you know, this is a great matchup. Cure and Down are awesome players. This Rushy guy, I mean, he's okay. He could probably do a little better, but you know what? We'll tolerate him for now. Maybe someday he'll learn what this floaty building is. I just call it floaty building. So now the floaty building is a city building. Hey, look at that. City, by the way. No H in that word. Yeah. Okay. This is a nightlight building. Ooh, look at that. Look at that, metal birds. Man, if you want the greatest low tier content this game has to offer, I'm ready. I'm ready to give it to you. But it is going to be Phoenix production out of the way for Zound. Zound's going to have to try and own the airspace here. I kind of like the play into Phoenix. I think it's going to be very similar to how Zerg like to play this map, where this is a very good muta map. There's lots of ups and downs onto this map. So mutas do a really nice job of being able to own the airspace and have lots of places to retreat to. And I imagine that Phoenix are going to be very much in the same vein as Zound is going to start getting himself worked up into a offensive position here. All right, Twilight Council coming down, as well as the Forge. And it's going to be tech buildings on the backside for Cure as well, getting into the double evolution. No, not evolution. Engineering bay. They're so closely named. So we're going to see that bio play once again here in game number 3. Of course, whoever loses this series is not out just yet. This is a GSL style bracket, so it's a double elimination. The winner will move on to the winner's match a little bit later on in the production. Of course, the loser of this game will move on to the elimination match quite a bit later. And this is only our first best of 3 of the day. We've got 5 best of 3s in the cards for you. Now, some very good bio coverage here. These Phoenix are not going to be able to get a lot of work done. So Zound's going to have to make the most of what he's got here. He's continuing a little bit of his Phoenix production. I don't know if he's going to get... all the way down the line. He is going to throw down more of those gateway. And the Templar Archive is going to make this a good transition into a pretty strong ground army. I mean, once again, this is not anything too terribly uncommon. Both of these players are rather standard in their play style. But I'm thinking Zound was hoping to get just a little bit more damage done. Cure doing a really nice job of deflecting a lot of these attacks. Now he will be able to get in on top of the gas. He does pick off 3 workers, so finally finding a little bit of economic damage. But I mean, honestly, again, we're at the 7-minute mark. Look how much damage has been done on either side. Just a very quiet game number 3. But once again, both players know that, I mean, my tournament life's not in danger just yet. Very, very easy for me to just play a normal game, and if I lose, okay, I'm gonna have to continue onwards in the elimination bracket. But who knows? Maybe I play a good game and I win. No reason to be aggressive just yet at this point. Oh, very good aggression there, actually damaging one of those medevacs, and it did have a lot of units inside of it, so that should push Cure back just a little bit, at least if anything scares him off. Okay, we got +2 armor on the way. Of course, armor very good against Bio of Terran, because in the Marines, they attack fast. All right, so good charge timing here, but it's just going to be so much here out of Cure. Unfortunately, Zound invested a lot of money into the Phoenix, and while the Phoenix are still around and they have tons of energy, they've just not gotten anything of value accomplished here. So Zound sits so far down on his army count, and I think Cure might just be able to lock this up here. So great stutter step micro on the back side of this. He's got so much bio that is still so strong. Now this will be a nice warp in of Zealots, so this engagement isn't quite done. Zound still got some push. He's also got cannons. He has a shield battery. I mean, some very, very clean micro out of both players. But unfortunately, Zound just is unable to make a lot of this connect at this point. Now, having 3 more Archons will make a bit of a difference. Oh, the Phoenix swinging around trying to collect reinforcements, but they do get engaged upon. Now they're going to just fly right over top of the bio and draw a little bit of fire here, picking up as many of those medevacs as possible, but all the medevacs are actually low on energy, so while it is disappointing to lose those, it's not going to be push ending. These will have to be careful, though. Every stim is precious now. There are no heals at this point. Oh, great mine shot off onto more of those Phoenix, but it does incur a little bit of friendly fire. Now, Zound has been able to deal with this rather well. A couple more medevacs now on site. Cure is going to have to kind of dial this back up again. The unfortunate part about Cure's situation here is he's so stimmed that all of the energy on these medevacs are just going to get soaked up almost immediately. Cure going to rotate around to the 4th base here. Try and get some more work done, but he's attacking up the ramp here. Oh, so that mine shot coats most of that army. A really bad place. Now, all of the Phoenix have been picked off. This is finally some good news here for Cure. Zound doing a really nice job of holding this all down, but it is going to be difficult here going forward. But as long as there are no medevacs on this side of the map, Cure is not able to push very, very effectively here. So there are a couple more. Both players now trying to lick their wounds and get ready for the next push. Cure going to grab that +1 vehicle armor. There are disruptors on the way for Zound. Zound does a nice job. He actually gets a revelation off of most of the army here. Zound's definitely not out of it. He's not taking much economic damage. I mean, this is a nice little play here. This will get cleaned up. Comes at the cost of 3 workers. Cure once again attacking onto the ramp. Now that's a great concave here. All the Archons actually getting picked off here. Once those Archons are gone, so much of the value of this army actually just plummets. And suddenly Cure is in a really good position. He's got some push potential, but the warpins are going to be really, really strong. Zound is just living on the edge, man. Oh, but look at all those mines. Okay, the observers here, that will get all cleaned up here. And Zound finally with a very convincing hold. All right, so 4th base on site for both players. Honestly, the economic advantage has kind of been pretty much in Zound's favor for a good chunk of this game. You might look at that giant bump up for Cure, but honestly, that's a lot of mules. I'm a firm believer, chat, that any time a Protoss player has disruptors, they're never out of the game. It might be more important for a Protoss player to have 2 disruptors in a dream than 2 immortals in a dream. Okay. Zound intercepts a little bit of the reinforcements on the left side of the map, and in fact, I might not even call those reinforcements. I think it's just going to be a second drop here. Oh, this is going to be a big doom drop here. Actually, both sides of the map here going to get busy. Now, Stalker's going to try and get on top of the drop here, and they do manage to pick off one, but Zound's got a lot of work to do. You're going to try and attack from multiple locations. The main is under fire here. Those mines will be able to sink down, hopefully cause a lot of damage here for Cure. Yeah, 9 probes going down. Those mines finding the damage that they are looking for. Now, the third group did not push into the fourth. He did not want to over-risk because he knew that there were disruptors. But honestly, a big stim forward might have just taken those disruptors out of the equation faster than he could have figured out how to deal with. But as our good friend Todd would say, Luca di Supply. 125 to 78 army supply. I would also encourage you to look at the income. Protoss units are rather sturdy, so playing from a small deficit is not that big of a deal. But playing from down 50 makes it a lot more difficult, especially if you start losing some of these high-tech units getting on top of the Colossi. The Colossi immediately fall, 13 workers go down, and once that worker balance shifts towards Cure's favor, that makes it much more difficult for him to, for Zound to try and play back from. And Zound has kind of played from the back foot almost this entire game here. I mean, look at these army differences. Ah! On the back side of that, Cure, he's got his 5th and 6th base already planted. Zound not able to make the most of bases 5 and 6 yet. In fact, doesn't even have them on the ground at this point. Now, Dark Shrine, Blink, DTs are good units. But I think this is going to be difficult for Zound to try and get on top of. Shadow Strike's going to be allowed to complete, but there's just way too much here. I mean, Zound's dedicating almost everything he's got to this drop force, and that doesn't even start to deal with this army. Now, it is a good DT blink, but unfortunately with that scan, it's going to make that almost impossible to deal with. Although 1 DT left behind, I think it's wishful thinking at best. No. Okay. I mean, I'm not gonna say that we told you so, but I mean, Zound's hanging in there. It's okay for Protoss to play from a little bit of an army supply disadvantage. It's that worker disadvantage you want to be very, very aware of. We use the word cognizant. But then my brain didn't want to parse out the, like, Rushy, that's a vocabulary word. This is going to be very difficult to clean up for Zound. Zound does manage to pick up this base. He is going to get the recall, though. Does get on top of his army, but immediately all of those high-tech units get targeted down. The scan will be able to clean up the DTs. And now we're starting to see a Zound that's going to have a very difficult time trying to get back into this game. More ghost production is happening here. The DTs are trying their best to get some damage done on the Cure side of the map, but not going to find what he needs. And Cure just going to continue to follow the Artosis mindset. When ahead, get more ahead. Gonna take that income advantage. He's gonna run with it. We can see that spike directly in his favor. I mean, there hasn't been a point in the last 10 minutes that he hasn't led on army count. If you can lead on both as a Terran player, it's gonna put you in an outstanding spot. You're gonna be able to rotate as well. honestly, there is a sizable force here, but it's not anything that's going to be too spooky. One of those disruptors immediately getting picked off. This Bioforce will do a lot of work here. Good scans to keep an eye on those DTs. Zound will be able to shove this off. Pure just has not had an opportunity to group all of his units and push back on his Protoss opponent. This Oracle has gotten so much value. It's got 14 kills. I've seen this thing duck in and out so many times. Pure just able to make so much of this happen. But you got to give it to Zound. Zound's done a really good job of just running a razor-thin wire on holding down the bases, getting that economy back into a position where it's possible for him to continue thriving and surviving. And he's tossing down these units that help keep him in the game. DT, good unit. And I don't want to hear anybody say otherwise. You can't prove me wrong on this one. Ghosts are going to be hard to deal with, though. And honestly, this is not a situation where Zound can only afford to send one DT. He's going to get good damage done, but I mean, he needs so much more. He's going to get 9 workers, though. Imagine if there were 2 DTs there. I mean, that's an entire mineral line just clean. All right, Cure is maxed out here. He's got a couple of different armies going to attack with. I mean, the main army is up here, but the damage is coming over here. I mean, we've got ourselves a pretty good game here on Death Aura. Oh, that's a big old DT warping. DTs are gonna get scanned on, trying to blink out as much as possible, but he kills pretty much all but 2 of those DTs. Now, it's going to be a double-pronged aggression here, pulling the entire army out of position. That's just too much for Zound. Great 20-minute game here. GG is called, and Cure cleaning up this best of 3 and advances on to the winner's match here in Group B of the Into the Alpha X Pro Circuit number 3. Well played. Awesome, folks. Yeah, I love the stimulating conversation this morning, chat, about esports and StarCraft 2 in general. Thank you for being a part of the conversation. It's good for us to talk about it. It's good for us to keep it in mind, because that is how we sustain our ecosystem here for StarCraft 2. Now, that being said, check out that Matcherino link in the chat. Nightbot doing the Lord's work here, posting that up there for you. You can use the code ITaX Pro Circuit 3 to add 50 cents to our prize pool absolutely free. It doesn't cost you a dime. All it costs you is 30 seconds. Now hold on. I hear some of you thinking, but Reshi, how do I make that work? How do I contribute? Maybe I've never contributed to Matcherino before. If you haven't, today is your lucky day. It is the best opportunity for you to check that out. Let me run a quick ad here to show you how you can contribute to Matcherino, not only for Alpha X, but for your other favorite esports opportunities with just a few simple clicks. We're going to run this quick ad, and then we'll be back and ready to go for our next series. It is going to be, let's see, who's it going to be? It's Dream versus SOS? Yeah, Dream versus SOS. So, stick around, folks. We got lots of great StarCraft coming at you right here. Let's check out that Matcherino, though. Click those codes. Type them in. Here's how to do it. We'll be right back.
For our event and contribute in many different ways. 1. Free coupon. Click Contribute, enter the specified coupon code to contribute a predetermined amount of money to the prize pool. 2. Free sponsor quests. On the right side of the screen are various actions supported by sponsors, including retweets, Twitter follows, surveys, among other things. Click into these boxes to complete the action and add the attached prize contribution to the pool free of charge. 3. Marketplace. Products are available in our marketplace, which also contribute to the fundraising pool. Be sure to check out the variety of apparel and collectibles, as well as other unique items. 4. Donate. Clicking on the Contribute button, you're able to add funds to your Matcherino wallet and then directly contribute them to the fundraiser page. Thanks for supporting your event with Matcherino.
All right. Hello. Sorry, I phased out, like my brain stopped functioning for a brief moment, and then I had that moment of, Rushy, you're live. And I glanced over at my OBS feed, and like, we're live. Shoot. Alrighty, folks, welcome back here. We are going to get set up and ready to go for match number 2, excuse me. It's going to be Dream versus SOS. It's going to be another TVP. More than anything, I guess it does keep me in the same mode for what to watch for in unit compositions and matchup, but I'm not going to lie to you and say that this is the best thing I've ever seen. I mean, it's great StarCraft, don't get me wrong, but where are my Zergs at? So sad. Alrighty. Let's go ahead and get into the second series here of Group B, the Into the Alpha X Pro Circuit number 3, spawning in the bottom left. It's our pink Protoss player, who I'm going to have to put a name next to. It's a great question that I need to ask who he plays for. Of course he plays for Generic Green Wings. Give it up for SOS. And spawning in the top right, our red Terran player playing for Brave Star Gaming. Give it up for Dream. All right, do I have the SOS? Oh, I do. Oh, it's in the right spot. That's the power of production, baby. Making that easy peasy. Folks, of course, we talked to you right before the break about Matcherino and how you can contribute to our coupon codes to add to our prize pool. Absolutely free, at no cost to you. However, if you are thinking, you know what? I got $10 to spend. I'd love to support this prize pool even further and really, really make this amazing prize pool even better. We have for you the opportunity to purchase the replay packs from the entire tournament. Now, those are going to be on sale for $10 and available at the end of the entire tournament, which does take place for a couple weeks here in August. But all of those replays will be available to you at the low, low price of $10. You can learn this great proxy gateway build. Study it intensely. And you too can play like SOS. Now, SOS is being rather aggressive here. He is going to put that gateway really far out and immediately start that stalker production. And this should start raising some red flags here for Dream, going, wait a minute, how do you have this out so fast? Really isn't even that much here for Dream to hold this back. Oh, he doesn't kill it. That seems a little foolish here. But the second stalker, now this is gonna make things a little more difficult. He is delaying that natural by a long ways. Oh, some great stalker micro here. That stalker on the left, so painfully low. The third stalker's gonna show up here. And I mean, this is gonna become very, very difficult. Now, there is no blink. It doesn't matter. GG is called. SOS. Flexing on his opponent. Jeez. Wow. Okay, so that looks to be the type of game that SOS is going to want to bring to his opponent. Dream's going to have to play just a little more consistently here if he wants to continue in this best of 3. So, I'll have to see what comes up here. I believe I saw, was that Death Aura? Yeah, I think so. So, we got Death Aura on the menu here. This could be another really quick proxy for SOS. We'll have to see what he can boil up here. How interesting would that be? If SOS clears a 2-0, he'll go on to play Cure in the winners match, another TVP. Dream will go down to face Zaun in the elimination match, another TVP. And depending on how that goes, we could have a TVP decider? Oops, all TVPs. Oh, I'm gonna have to move SOS. All right, we'll do that here really fast. Here you go. You squeep. Nailed it. Spawning in the top left. Our pink Protoss. What's he got up his sleeve here in game number 2? Give it up for Generic Green Wings' SOS. And spawning in the bottom right. It's our red Terran player. Sending that scout out extra early, wanting to find out what information is going to be coming. Playing for Brave Star Gaming. Give it up for Dream. Oh, ho, 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 ho. Hello, Mr. Dream. Hello. This is not the normal place where you build your buildings. Hello, Mr. SOS. This is not the normal place where you build your buildings. Well, it's a cheese fest. I love it. I guess Death Ore is located in Switzerland and or France, where we have so many varieties of cheeses to play from. Okay. SOS is now going, It's a cheese off. I challenge you to a duel. Now Dream is gonna come up here and he shouldn't immediately notice, like, wait a minute, something not right. Something's a little spooky. You should have a second gateway. It's gonna be the same Gouda that got brought forward in game number 1. Now the biggest difference here is that Dream is gonna be on top of it. He's gonna be very, very quick about it as well. No probe in the main base at this point. There's a pylon that could keep things interesting. Yeah, in fact, that pylon is gonna be allowed to finish. And that alone might be enough, because that's high ground vision. So now this Stalker, oh, that Stalker doesn't even need to walk up. Yeah, this is a little dicey here. It's actually so dicey that Dream is having to pull his unit production back home to deal with this, because the one mine is not going to be enough. Okay, is that enough DPS? It's not. Okay, continuing that high ground vision there. I mean, how much vision is that grabbing? I mean, that is so good. All right, second mine's gonna come out, and that's gonna make this almost impossible for SOS to stay on top of. I don't see how that isn't in range. I mean, those units in just, again, razor thin edge. Oh, they got bumped into range for a brief second here. All right, so with that pylon going down, that will be kind of the end of the push here for SOS at this point, because those mines do so much zoning and damage. You think it's safe to assume everyone struggles against Rogue? I think you should talk to Scarlet. I hear she has Rogue figured out. Okay, these Stalkers are gonna try and get more work done. Oh, but the tank. Oh, the tank's actually gonna make that impossible. Oh, SOS. Now you have to play an actual game. Womp womp. So Dream with a very good hold. Making the most out of this. Now both players are going to be in position to get their naturals up. Get some mining taken care of. Dream now floating out his command center. The tank should eventually shut this down. No high ground makes this tank just invincible. Oh, second tank actually cleans up some of those Stalkers, which puts a lot of pressure on SOS's shoulders here to get more work done. Only now he has the... Ugh. He has the Observer on the way. We do see Stimpack. See +1. But it's going to be more... Oh, okay. He already has an Observer. Beautiful. So that might be enough here. Okay. Does notice the lack of tanks on the top side here. This should be enough. Blink done? Blink is done. But he doesn't blink up onto the high ground. I think the high ground vision would have been, or the high ground blink would have been a lot more effective here. But now he is going to utilize that blink. He's going to get on the backside here. He has the opportunity to stay on top of the stim pack research. I almost wish he would have targeted that down immediately. I think he would have gotten it, or at least forced Dream into a different position. But instead, he's just going to blink back out, happy with the damage he did get accomplished. We've got a Warp Prism on the way. And it's just going to be bio-tank production here for Dream. Dream's actually in a good position to be able to push back. Oh, look at that production. 6 of these bad boys. Look at these bad boys. I love it. I love it. I love it. SOS is going to get out to his third base. He's going to get hyper aggressive here. He's dropping down 6 warp gates. The DT Shrine is on the way. And now we see Dream going to be setting up some of his own aggression here. Going to take 8 of those Marines and start flying away. I don't think SOS has ever left the front of the natural with these stalkers. They've just kind of always existed here in game number 2. Now, concussive shells are going to be allowed to complete, and that may be a shove point. That might be the trigger for Dream to try and move out and secure a third base. The Dark Shrine is just about done. DT Warpins would be very, very effective. But it does look like it's going to have to be defensive DT Warpins here. The drop finally finding the main. Getting on top of these Stalker Warpins, that was actually just about all that he had. So he's going to have to recall a couple of the Stalkers back home, but really not that much to deal with this. All in all, it's going to be 11 probe kills. Dream finding damage, finally. Dream waited 8.5 minutes sitting in the back of his base. He proxied. He proxied his first barracks, got little to nothing done with it, and now finally is able to push out and say, look, dude, cramping my style. Is that going to clean up? No. So that medevac will live to boost another day. The army counts are rather similar, though, so don't let that deceive you. Dream in a good position economically, is sitting up with 12 more workers. And on top of that, he will have mules, although I think if he's smart, he does not try to over-mule at this point. He's got a pretty decent economy. He doesn't have a whole lot he has to try and substitute in for. He needs those scans, especially if he saw that Dark Shrine was there, and he did. So that Dark Shrine's always going to be an issue. But it's just going to be a big old Zealot warp in here. Medevac does move some of the units up to the main base. Tanks are going to get picked off here. Look at all of these Zealots in this mineral line. I mean, this is going to get obliterated here. All of these workers are going to go to 19 workers in total. Did that command center get picked? No, it did not. A couple more tanks will free up the high ground. But suddenly, just like that, a snap of the fingers and a blink of the Stalkers, and we suddenly see SOS come back into position. Now that medevac was going to try and take 8 more Marines into the main base, but that will not get as much damage done this time. SOS has that reinforcement there to get on top of that. Tank's going to shell down onto those Zealots. The Stalker's not going to blink into danger this time. There aren't quite enough to actually be able to lock that down. Dream has gotten a look at the 4th base location, but it's another giant warp in here by the Warp Prism, getting on top of both sides here. This is enough to pull Dream's tanks apart. able to get on top of those tanks. Now, SOS does need to get out of there with that warp prism. He does manage to get that done. The next push will be a little bit stronger here. Ground armor number 1 is done and complete, and we will start seeing Shadow Stride added into the mix as well. Good pickoff of reinforcements here by SOS. Dream holding it down. But now the question comes in. Can DTs turn the tide? I'm not sure if they can. Oh, that's a great pickoff. That's a great pickoff here. Grabbing that medevac, forcing those units to not be as mobile across the map. What a scrappy game by both of our players here. Dream does wrestle back control of the economy just for a little while, although he's had pretty good control of it over the last 10 minutes. But look at this army graph. This is the telling story. SOS has done so much to try and be aggressive and to get in on top of his opponent, and Dream has been able to absorb those blows. Are we gonna see a second series go to game number 3? I think it's very possible here, but we're not going to write SOS out just yet. We've got more DTs being warped in. Where? That's okay. I mean, I clicked on the production square and it didn't jump me to it. That's fine. We were smart. We used our big brain and we found it. Oh, look at those speedy shadow boys. All right, gravitic drive being researched. We've got those disruptors on the way. You give SOS 2 disruptors, he got a chance. Doesn't matter if that's his only supply. He's got a chance. Now, Dream is also going to transition here. He's going to get into that armory. This is actually a pretty decent engagement here. Big blink forward on top of all of these tanks. The Zealots are just completely unmitigated here. They're going to be able to get on top of all of these valuable units, and they continue charging on forward. There still remains some Stalkers into this mix. There's 1 tank left. I don't know if that tank is going to fall or not, but that's too much push. Dream. I don't know if that game was over, but Dream sure thought it was. GG is called, and SOS going to move out of this group in 2-0 fashion. Well played by both of our players. Quite the situation here for Dream. I think he might have tapped out just a little bit too soon. But the Dream saw something we didn't, and he taps out. He's going to move down to the elimination match with his good friend Zown. We got 2 more TVPs on the way, folks. Alrighty, folks. We are going to go ahead and get set up and ready to go for our winners match. It's going to be SOS versus Cure, another TVP. Folks, we're going to take a quick break here, but when we return, it will be the winners match. Please do check out this Matcherino ad. This one was brought to you by yours truly. I absolutely think Past Rushy is so dreamy. Talking about our sponsor quest again, we had that great conversation in the chat about how you can support StarCraft 2 in 2020 and how we can keep this scene thriving. Interacting with our sponsor quest on Matcherino is so important. So we'll go ahead and run this ad. We'll take a short break, and when we return, it will be the winners match here for the Into the Alpha X Pro Circuit number 3. My name is Rushy. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back right after this. My name is Rushy, and this is a 1-minute tutorial on how to create your own Matcherino quests for your online events. Let's get started. Go to Matcherino.com and click the sign in button in the top right. You'll need to link an account to begin. I use my Twitch account because it's the most convenient for me, but you can choose which one works best for you. Once you log in, click your username in the top right and select Profile. Along the left side will be a place to select Sponsor Quests, and you've arrived. Click the Add button and give this quest a clear title and a sleek image. Your quest can be attached to all games, but one option to better reach your audience is to limit your quest to games that fit your specific community. You can also target specific audiences by whitelisting specific countries or by blacklisting specific countries so they can't see your quests. You can also set specific actions that your quests require, such as website clicks or Twitter follow. Doing all of this will get you great-looking buttons that your fans can interact with on your Matcherino pages. Use the Analytics tab to see how your quests are doing and what works best for your community. Every click counts. I hope this video helped you start your Matcherino quest. Thanks for supporting Matcherino. Now, let's get back to the action. Alrighty, folks, that's not... I just looked at the feed and I went, that's not my face. That's our beautiful poster with our players' faces. Now you can see my face and the poster. Welcome back, everybody. You guys are watching the Into the Alpha X Pro Circuit number 3. This is Group B featuring Zound, Cure, SOS, and Dream. We are ready for our winners match. It's going to be Cure versus SOS. The winner of this match will be advancing on to the second group stage, or round of 8. Because we've got a whole bunch of stuff happening here with this series. Of course, we got 16 players. That'll be boiled down to 8. Exclamation point B in the chat will give you access to our full Liquipedia page where you can look up all of the information regarding our wonderful event here. Of course, my name is Rushy. I'm bringing you the English cast. We've got all sorts of great casters covering many different languages. Of course, Inu from Into the Clan, bringing the Korean coverage. Gosh, excuse me, I got a little tickle in my throat. Bel Air bringing an awesome German cast. Anki Alexander making the Spanish cast happen today, and of course yours truly with the English cast. So very excited to work with a great group of people. We are going to be jumping into our winners match here. It's going to be another best of 3. And we're going to go ahead and get going. So thanks so much for tuning in, everyone. Feel free to toss the link, twitch.tv/AlphaXSC2, into your Discord chats. Let your clans know. And they got some great StarCraft 2 action headed your way. Spawning in the top left of Death Aura. It's our pink Protoss player playing for Generic Green Wings. Give it up for SOS. And spawning in the bottom right, our red Terran player playing for Dragon Phoenix Gaming. Give it up for Cure. Now, this is a hunch. I don't have any reason, I don't have any, like, concrete information to support this claim. But I have a feeling that we're not going to see the same kind of shenanigans here out of SOS. At least not in its entirety. I think against Dream, that's totally fine and expected. But I would imagine against a opponent like Cure, we're going to see maybe a little bit more calculated approach come down the pipe. So it does look a little bit more standard over on SOS's side of the map at this point, getting into just a normal build pattern. But it is going to be Cure that wants to make game number 1 the same level of interesting that he made it against Zound, going for that concussive shell opener here against his opponent. Now, Cure not able to get a bunker back in behind like he did in game number 1 against Zound. But he is still going to be aggressive out of the gate nonetheless. But we will have to see where life is going to take us. We also have a Twilight Council coming down here for SOS. Again, this is a lot more standard of a game. But gonna try and come in here. Oh, he should immediately see what's happening here. Cure just all of a sudden like, well, why do you have 3 Marauders? What would those be used for? What could even possibly be happening? Immediately the shield battery is gonna go down in the mineral lines. The blink is on the way. If these Marauders can't get good connection points, that could potentially make this difficult to deal with. Now it's going to be Hellions dropped into the main. Ooh, I actually love that pickoff here. To Martosis pylons, not able to get work done. And actually all of the production has been halted here. So these are the units for SOS at this point. Right, it's just 1 Marauder left at this point. But I think the shield batteries are gonna be way too strong. Very, very good damage control by SOS, keeping this under wraps. It's gonna force Cure into a later game scenario. But there's not a whole lot that SOS can do behind this. He's doing the one thing he can do, though, which is expand into his 3rd base location. So he's going to try and take an economic advantage at this point. But I love the stance that SOS is getting into. He does move those stalkers forward. He's going to have blink here in about the next 15 seconds or so. He's going to get aggressive and keep his opponent on the back foot. All right, now Banshee is going to scout that third base is on the way. What is Cure going to do to respond to that? Because honestly, he's not really in a position yet where he can take his own third. He doesn't have the production to be able to justify that cost. So he is going to get Hyperflight rotors and make these Banshees a part of a complete balanced aggression breakfast here for Cure. I actually quite like that. There's lots of dead space here on the north side of these bases to abuse those Banshees being able to fly back and forth. The Observer is cute, and it's gonna help SOS keep track of where those Banshees are at. But if those Banshees all of a sudden just become twice as fast and not cloaked, it's not going to be as effective as he would like it to be. And I don't think that SOS is going to go into the position of researching the Observer speed just to keep up. So we got 4 more gateways in production. Production cycle is going to start spiking here as, SOS has very cleanly grabbed hold of the economic advantage in this game. And it won't be too long before SOS is able to grab the army advantage as well. But here comes the damage. This is going to be the scary part. It's going to be fast, float, Banshee. So now life begins. And SOS is going to have to pull back here. It's 9 pros. 9 of them. And what is actually got to be frustrating for SOS is he got the 1 Banshee pinned, and that's it. I mean, he's invested so much in just keeping this 1 Banshee off the map. But Cure able to grab control here. He's able to get out to his third. He will be able to siege that up, so this will be rather protected. I mean, this is a pretty sizable force. But I wonder if Cure will be able to anchor this down. I think this might actually be difficult here for Cure to try and hold into place. SOS is just spiked up so fast on his supply count. I mean, look at that army count, 85 to 59. Yes, the economic advantage is very similar. This is just going to be very, very tough to defend on 3 tanks. If anybody can do it, it would be Cure. Now SOS is going to drop on the right-hand side as well, trying to draw a little bit of that tank fire. Does get a bit of friendly fire on the Marines on the high ground. So anytime those tanks are turning the opposite way, that is a bad moment for Cure. 20 workers have gone down for Cure. And SOS has forced the third base up to the high ground. The drop in the main absolutely getting what it was looking for, forcing those tanks to look in the wrong direction. Now, it did come at the cost of his Warp Prism, so that next Warp Prism is underway. But getting that third base up and away, that's outstanding damage. I mean, now SOS has his opponent pinned back on 2 base. He can't get in and kill it yet. Sure, that's fine. Actually, he didn't even lose the Warp Prism. He's just going to try and replace it because he knows that that's very, very low. And if he gets to have 2 Warp Prisms, even better. But once again, not going to be able to get in and kill his opponent, sure, but holding his opponent to 2 base economy is such a great position to play from. Because right now, the armies were even, but look at how quickly SOS can separate the gap there. Jumping up to 87 army supply to his opponent's 77, he's just going to be able to exponentially grow. And we're going to suddenly see the pink line on this army size graph continue to spike upwards. Not to mention being able to hold on to that income advantage for the last 10 minutes of the game. Also a great place for SOS to play from. Okay, now this is a bit of a risky dial here. Some great side storms basically coat the entire Bioforce here. Cure having to play with a really weakened army. He does get some great tank volleys, don't get me wrong there. One tank will be able to remain on the top side there. Seeing the Disruption Matrix go down on an Archon, what a weird scenario. I guess technically it's mechanical. Seems weird to call that mechanical. Now it's gonna be one more push. I think if you can get that tank, it's all done, but big storms on the top side of that mineral line. GG is called, and SOS is just relentless. GG. Just relentless in his pushing. Refused to give up any foothold to his opponent here. And Cure's gonna have to... He's going to have to play more creative, or at least more aggressive, if he wants to keep ahead of his Protoss opponent in SOS. And now SOS one game away from advancing out of this Group B in first place. That would be, I mean, he's 3 wins in a row at this point. Back to back to back, and he wants to claim one more, and he's going to have to, if he's going to do it, it'll come on Pillars of Gold. Here for map number 2. Folks, exclamation point Matcherino in the chat. Great opportunity to check out those codes. I actually already went in and submitted my code. And I want to see your name in that list of participants for this event. So please, exclamation point Matcherino in the chat. Consider using that code ITaX Pro Circuit 3. Allows you to add 50 cents to the prize pool for no cost. Absolutely nothing. Really encourage you to check that out, and thank you so much for considering. My name is Rushy, and this is a 1-minute tutorial on how to create your own. That was not what I wanted.
Events. Let's get started.
Go to Matcherino.com. What is happening? Okay, sorry about that. I guess. My computer just decided we were gonna run that ad that I was trying to get rid of. It's a sentient being. I don't know what to tell you. OBS play nice. Apparently I'm button happy today. I'm willing to own that, I guess. Squeep. All right, let's go. Okay, now can I get rid of it? Oh, I bet I can get rid of it now. Let's do it. Let's go. Goodbye. We've done it. All right, spawning in the top right-hand corner of Pillars of Gold. It's our red Terran player playing for Dragon Phoenix Gaming. He's doing 2 in a row if he wants to advance out in first place from Group B. Give it up for Cure. And spawning in the bottom left, our pink Protoss playing for Jyn Air Green Wings. 1 win away from advancing out in first place. Give it up for SOS. Good morning, Miguel. Miguel, you didn't see anything. You didn't see any bumble. No fumble. The production is always perfect when Rushy's at the helm. No mistakes. I'm doing pretty well, buddy. It's weird though. It's a Saturday and I'm not cast in Junior Championships, so it feels a bit bizarre. Yes. Oh, Nightbot. Thank you for reminding me, folks. We have an opportunity for you to contribute even further into the prize pool. Let's say you put in those codes and you're like, you know what, Rushy? It's just not enough. My passion for esports grows bigger by the day. How can I best support Alpha X and StarCraft 2 in 2020? Well, if you want, you can consider buying the replay pack from every game from this event here over the course of the next couple of weeks. All of the group stages, all of the playoffs, the grand finals, you name it. You can have it For the low, low price of $10, you too can play like SOS and build your Twilight Council in exactly this spot. Exactly that spot. So do consider checking that out. Exclamation point Matcherino is a good place for you to check that out. You can kick in $10 to that prize pool, and we will send that to replay pack to you at the end of this event. So thank you for giving that some consideration. Thank you for supporting StarCraft 2 and Alpha X. Alrighty. No weird shenanigans from either one of our players at this point. Oh, womp womp. Trapped in the Warp Gate Cyber City. The Lone Reaper leaps away, wondering what could have been had he been able to scout more than 10 feet into the main. Maybe there's a dark shrine. Maybe there's a Twilight Council. Or maybe it's just probes toiling away to the glory of ire. One sentry rules over their entire dominion, making haste to bring glory to Artanis. His name is SOS. His mission, destroy all Terran that stand in his way. It's gonna build a third base. Got really dramatic, and then I didn't know where to go with it, and I was like, well, so we could just talk about the game again, right? That's a thing we can do? Do you have a Raven out for Cure? Cure gonna play this way more standard in this game number 2. I'm just gonna put in the time, gonna put in the effort, but it does look like SOS is going to anchor down a bit of aggression here, gonna move forward with all of his stalkers. 6 more gateways on the way. Is there a Warp Prism already out? That's an adept. Warp Prism. Warp Prism. Do we have one? No. So no Warp Prism at this point. I find that interesting. Okay, so Cure is also going to add into the aggression category. But with the giant amount of warping potential here out of SOS, I don't think this is going to be a scary spot for him to try and play from. I mean, he's got 8 warp gates. Again, my big concern is the fact that there's no warp prism across the map to make those warps count in a big way. But this is going to be rather strong aggression here out of Cure. He's going to grab 5 of those workers and force out some energy from those sentries. Now the 3rd command center will be allowed to go down for Cure. Going to get more of that work done at this point. We do see concussive shelves and that +1 on the way as well. I think SOS actually, no, he didn't get that cleaned up. It's just sitting in the bottom left-hand corner. Now we see a Warp Prism. Man, SOS, I feel like you could have had that a little bit sooner, but again, what do I know? Just a bastard. I'm not about to tell the pro player how to play the game. They're much better than me. Okay, more barracks in production as well. Cure going to get on top of his army, and he's just going to move this out. Now, both of these two are going to move out at the same time. Like 2 ships sailing at night. They shall pass by undetected. Provided they don't run into each other and cause hull damage that would put them in a dangerous position. Here's going to be damage that's in a dangerous position, though. Cure just going to leap on up here. This is a big force, and actually SOS gets a little indecisive out onto the map. That is going to be canceled +1 ground armor. It's also going to be 4 gateways, all depowered. Is he going to be able to get on top of the Nexus? He is, but does Cure have anything back at home to really effectively deal with this? Oh, that's a great choke on the ramp. So many of those zealots are so pinned back. Really good use of the mines. Look at how many workers have gone down. 40 workers has gone down. But there's been nothing back here at home to deal with this as well. I think Cure actually wins this. I mean, this is a situation where, yes, all the probes got pulled and they're currently safe, but there's nothing to stop this ground force. Well, the Raven is going to add into this. Those auto turrets are going to start firing away, pinning back more and more of the workers. And look at the supply. Cure gets on top of it. GG is called. Game number 2 goes to Cure in rather convincing fashion. So we are going to have a rubber match here in the winners circuit. Oh, gonna get that stretch going. Everyone, take this opportunity. Stretch with me. Stretching is so good. Hopefully you have your water, yourself hydrated. We are gonna be ready to go for game number 3. The winner of this next game will be advancing out of Group B in first place. It's gonna take place on Eternal Empire. I feel like I haven't seen this map in a while. Whew. I think we are in a good position to kick things off, move things in the right direction. Dun-dun. I have a feeling I'm gonna lay myself out there just a little bit and say that there's probably some good aggression that's going to be coming across here for SOS. I can see this being the case, especially since I mean, this is match point on the line, right? Spawning in the top right-hand corner, our red Terran player playing for Dragon Phoenix Gaming. Give it up for Cure. And spawning in the bottom left, our pink Protoss player. How weird is he gonna make it here in game number 3? Give it up for Jenner Green Wings, SOS. I see how weird he's gonna make it. He's gonna make it this weird. So now the question begs to be asked. How much is Cure going to actually scout? Is he going to want to look for this? This is defensible from Cure's perspective, but I think Cure needs to get a sense of what's happening. He needs to see right here. Oh, it's like literally like he's almost there. No, he's gonna pull it back. No way. Okay. He just spots it. Okay. All right, so this is now kind of an interesting scenario here. With that being spotted, it is just going to be a zealot. Command center is going down. It's going to be placed on the high ground. So the supply depot will make this impossible. to get in on top of. And SOS doesn't realize that this has been spotted. So trying to run that as quickly as he possibly can. He's going to get up. He's going to see the bunker, and he's going, ah, drat. That's a problem. Now, what makes this even more interesting is the fact that back here at home, there is nothing. There are no units. It is only probes. So he's going to have to force a recall to bring the stalker back home. Now, this will zone everything out. It does cost him recall energy. He does lose 2 probes. But this is a rather rough position to play from. Oh, hello. Okay, not us. Oh, no. Bel Air, no. Ah. Yeah, not us. Not us, chat. Whew. Always get nervous when I see the screen start to stutter. Okay, good block on the gas. Does delay a little bit of tech production here out of the factory. 1 tank will be enough to really push this back and slow down the expansion of Cure. But Cure also has a Reaper that's still rather unchecked on SOS's side of the map. It's going to be more probe kills. I mean, this is great damage by this Reaper. 5 kills so far. Absolutely great place to play from. I think as a Reaper, I mean, just even like 2 or 3 is a great amount of kills. Oh, that's a dead stonker. All right, what do we have over here? It is going to go into a quick robotics bay. He's going to have to build another. Yeah, I was going to say he's going to have to build another gateway. He's not going to have a gateway in just a moment. So, SOS. Getting some work done here. Grabbing that gravitic drive, he is going to go right into drop disruptor play. I absolutely love this position. Yeah, absolutely, Grazzle. The 5-minute 1-gate plan, that's a high-level strategy that you'll only find coming from the Jin Air Green Wings team house. There's just going to be 1 disruptor at this point. But even 1 disruptor could still be very deadly. I mean, you can still knock out 6 or 7 workers with just 1 go. Now, Dark Shrine is underway. Yep, I was going to say, I think Cure spots this. He's not going to probably panic in any way, shape, or form. It's got to be this warp prism, though, that spooks him. What do we have to work with here? We'll be able to drop that down. Some great splits, only killing 1 worker. Cure with the absolute madman splits to keep that in place. We've got more gateway on the way. We've got a 3rd base coming down for Cure as well. And it's just going to be normal standard bio coming out for Cure. Going to get up that tank production. Grab those Marines, grab those Marauders. Getting the rest of those upgrades. Combat shield on the way. +1 infantry. And behind this, SOS going to try and play this as standard as possible. Grabbing that Colossus. Now finally adding on more of those gateway units. Because really, I mean, there's just no gateway production at this point. He has, what, 2 so far? Yeah, that's it. He's just got the 2. Extended thermal lance being researched as well. Ooh, getting the +1 infantry armor. Don't normally see that against Protoss. Protoss units just hit so hard and they hit slowly, so it's almost worth it to invest more into attack than it is to invest into armor. But Pure dialing this one up. He says, nope, I need that infantry armor at this point. Now we're gonna get concussive shells as well. Third base is on site for both players. Blink on the way. Getting a little potpourri of everything here for Cure. So now this does get scouted, right? Just barely. Bloop, bloop. All right, big scan forward here. This drop is going to get a little bit of damage done. You're going to rotate on the bottom side as well. So he's got a punishment coming here. He's going to get the Dark Shrine. I actually can't zoom in on it. Dark Shrine goes down. I think that's a huge pick for Cure. He can afford to lose just a little bit of his worker count here. Thinking there might be a fourth base on the way. Not going to find it. So this really limits the type of tech that SOS can go into. Cure getting a great pull on the Dark Shrine. The Dark Shrine's gonna have to be rebuilt. He's gonna have to build it in a little bit further. One unit gonna protect that. And back at home, I mean, he's got such great coverage. Now there is gonna be another disruptor drop. That disruptor drop is going to be very, very scary to deal with. 4 more workers going down. More disruptors on the way. SOS saying, ooh, went behind Dark Shrine, went even further behind, build disruptors. Even further behind, it's disruptor time. I love it. We talked about that with like Terran as well. Don't be a loser, battle cruiser. We just got to come up with the catchy Zerg phrase for when you're behind as a Zerg player. What's the catchy phrase to get you into the units that you need? Okay, gonna add in more of those Colossus. By the way, everybody, thank you so much for all the follows. We do appreciate that. We just eclipsed 3,500 followers for this channel. Thank you so much for all the support. We really love bringing these quality, high-tier events to you right here on twitch.tv/alphaxsc2. Really appreciate you tuning in as well. Feel free, if you want to hit that follow button, it does help us out a lot. And I see a whole bunch of people picking it out. Whoop, 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 whoop. Thank you so much. Very grateful for all this support. If you really like the content, you can send $69 right to the Twitch.tv. Okay, hold on, Russian. You can't just sell out like that. Look at all these zealots. What? That's so many zealots. Now here's the scary part here is these tanks are going to be caught a little bit out of position. If these zealots actually got on top of this ramp, they could potentially get a lot of damage done, but instead, gonna lay back, not gonna overcommit. All right, a fusion core on the way. More than likely, I would guess that it's just gonna transition us into Liberator tech, but wouldn't be surprised to see battle cruisers come out here either. Cure has a drop ready to go. Look at the coverage by SOS. SOS ready. He's ready to swat it away. Pya, pya, pya. Cure doing his part to protect against disruptor drops. Gonna throw down more of those turrets. In fact, gonna get really nice coverage around everything. Here we go. Advanced ballistics. Don't really see battle cruisers much in TVP, so expecting the battle cruiser tech is a little bit of a stretch, but Liberators are pretty good. Pretty good. All things considered. Now, Cure does have his ghost production on the way as well. So he's gonna be in just a fine spot. Oh, those tanks gonna be able to shell down. That's actually really good tank spread here by Cure. Doing a nice job with all 5 of those tanks. It's gonna make those Zealot run-bys very, very difficult to deal with. 3-3 on the way as well. It should be, is that 2-2? No, 3-2. See, that's silly. Both of these upgrades are blue, but they're at different levels. That's silly. Makes it hard. It's hard, chat. Oh, are we gonna get nukes? We're gonna get nukes. Let's go. Pretty excited about that. This is gonna be a good wall here at the front side. That's gonna be completely zoned. SOS just has no place to engage. Cure is all over this defense. He's able to rotate, he's got good scouting. What does this vision actually look like? Other than the sensor towers, I mean, he doesn't know a whole lot, but, oh, this will finally get cleaned up. But Cure is just so all over this defense. One more tap. One more little bloop. Who's casting? I don't know, some handsome guy, I think. My name is Rushy. Hope you guys are enjoying the cast. I've actually never seen that upgrade. What was that upgrade? What was it? Chat, someone help me, teach me. What was that? It looked like flames or something? I didn't realize you could get 3 upgrades out of here. It wasn't Yamato. We've already researched advanced ballistics. What's left? No, not stim pack. The casual 14-minute stim. Hit G? Oh, he already got it. Is that, oh, is that, oh, that's the medevac upgrade. I don't know what it's called. Okay. Oh, look at all those disruptors. Disruptors really don't connect with any of the SCVs, but they just nuke down this command center. That, I mean, 2 can play at the nuke game at this point. Ah, hit Alt F4 for those upgrades. Okay, I'll give it a try. Wow, thanks, chat. Appreciate that. All right, so we got more nukes on the way. This army does get caught out here. Cure in a really, really good stance, just making the most out of his defensive position here. He's able to get up to his 200 supply and just put himself in a good position. But SOS is going to go into the good unit here. He's going to grab carriers, but he's going to have to find a way to trade out efficiently here. He's all the way at the top, and now we start seeing the nukes incoming here. Now, this nuke's not going to get a whole lot of damage done. This one, however, could get a lot more. Where is that ghost? Oh, it's right there. Just hiding inside of the army. Okay, this one's going to get a lot. Oh, it gets picked off last second. Okay. This one. What are we looking at here? Okay, yeah, the dot is very, very clear and seen. That's going to get a lot of damage done. 12 workers going down. Cure able to get more work done, but what I fear is that Cure is actually going to be working for SOS at this point. I mean, finding ways to trade out efficiently here. It's going to be a scary place to play from. Now, DTs are good. DTs are not going to be the end-all be-all, though. But these DTs do manage to get a lot of work done. They're not all cleaned up yet. 21 workers have gone down for this. SOS grabs a hold of the income advantage. Have these DTs all been cleaned up yet? No, there's still one. Look at this go. SOS has gotten way more damage done with this. I mean, this is, at this point, he's got to be going, wait a minute, I didn't think I'd get this much work done. There's no way he expected that. So that gives him a good position to try and play into. Okay, we do have observer speed coming out. Yeah, I mean, I think that's absolutely a good call at this point. He does need to find a way to keep zoning out all of the snipes, but also the ghosts as well in their entirety. Big engagement here. I mean, the bio is rather low. Marine's really good against carriers, but if that bio runs out, there's just nothing to deal with them, and suddenly all of these tanks are going to be under fire. Yeah, this is going to be another recall. Oh no, the disruptors don't get called back. It's a great pickup. But once again, it could just be calculated. It's going to allow more carriers on the way, 6 in production as it sits. I think this is Cure's moment. I think he jumps on in. A couple of disruptors are going to be able to zone this back, but take the flying units. He's got it. I think he's in a good position. I think Cure's ready to lock this in. He target fires onto those carriers. One carrier goes down, another carrier goes down. Slowly working away here. And with a great positioning in this choke, I think SOS is in major trouble here. He's getting on top of the production. The carriers are just going to move across the map. I mean, this becomes a base race effectively at this point. And something, never base raid. I don't know. I don't remember how that goes, chat. Nobody even knows. But this is still a scary force here for SOS. Oh, it's never base traded Terran. Oh, of course. Never base traded Protoss. Yes, absolutely. I before E, except after base trade with Zerg. Something. All my teachers would be so disappointed right now. Okay, so Cure does send it back the Air Force to deal with this, and there's enough on the ground to provide at least a little bit of damage. 24 workers have gone down. All the carriers are gone. There goes another base. Cure locking it in. GG is called, and Cure manages to get out by the skin of his teeth. GG 2-1, taking first place in this series. Well played. So Cure is going to advance in first place. He's going to move on to the round of 8, where he will wait patiently for his next victims to come into place. But very well played. Carriers are a bad oh, I don't know if I would agree with that. I think Cure just had a great game where he sat on his side of the map, did a good job. He turtled in and just played a really great defensive game against a Protoss opponent who is notoriously very aggressive. So every single time he can shut down that aggression, just put Cure further and further down the road with great army and great economy behind it as well. So very well played. But Cure is going to be done for the day. That means we are going to get set up for our decider match coming up here. Folks, exclamation point Matcherino in the chat. We have so many of you here. We would love to have those codes utilized here for Matcherino. They provide us with so much opportunity to pay our players, and all we need you to do is click some buttons and type some codes in. So exclamation point Matcherino in the chat. ITaX Pro Circuit 3. Please head out to that link. Use that code to contribute 50 cents to the prize pool. Absolutely free at no cost to you. Folks, we're going to take a short break. I'm going to use the restroom. I'm going to encourage all of you. Stand up, stretch, click that Matcherino link, type some codes, get some water, go yell at a friend. I don't know. Find someone close, hug them, tell them that you love them, but yell at them in German because life is scary and unpredictable. And when we return, we will be setting up for the elimination match. It's going to be Zaun versus Dream. I knew the answer. I was testing you, chat. We're going to run a quick ad as well. Of course, one of our great sponsors here at AlphaX is G Fuel. We'll run a quick ad for them, take a short break, and we'll be right back. You guys are watching the Into the AlphaX Pro Circuit number 3. My name is Rushy. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back right after this. My name is Rushy, and thanks for watching our StarCraft 2 content brought to you by AlphaX. Productions like this are made possible by support from our sponsors, like G Fuel. G Fuel is the official drink of esports, and they want to encourage you to kick the can on other energy drinks that leave you drained out and out of juice when you need to make the big calls. Their dedication to keeping you fueled and in the game is only matched by their drive to support esports and the people who help make it possible. With over 20 unique flavors like bubblegum to choose from, they'll always deliver a great experience with each drink. Head out to our Matcherino page and check out their sponsor quests for more info on how to get your hands on G Fuel's clean and healthy alternative to sugar-loaded energy drinks. G Fuel, the official drink of esports. Thanks for supporting AlphaX, and thank you for considering checking out our awesome sponsors. Now, let's head back to the action. Alrighty, hello folks, and welcome back to the elimination match here in Group B of the Into the Alpha X Pro Circuit number 3. My name is Rushy. We have Dream versus Zown coming up right now, in fact. It's gonna be another TVP, holy cow. I'm not saying that I want it to go this way, but if Dream ends up winning the elimination match, we will effectively have 5 TVP matches all in a row. If Zown ends up winning, we will get a PvP, which could prove to be interesting in of itself. Now, I know I have to remain like reasonably bias-free as a caster. I mean, I am an Alpha X boy. I do see what Sunlily is posting, and I resonate with that. And he's spawning in the top left of Death Aura LE, our red Protoss player, playing for Alpha X. Make some noise for Zown. And spawning in the bottom right, our blue Terran player, playing for Braystar Gaming. Give it up for Dream. So of course this is the elimination match. We watched Cure make it through and advance out of first place. Oh, look at that. The SOS tag is still in. Thank you. Let's turn that off. My bad. Dream SOS. That's his new name now, didn't you know? We're going to have to see who the winner of this match is going to be to move on to play SOS in the decider match. That will help us determine our second place winner. Of course, folks, this is not the only set of events that we have going here. We have a lot going on over the course of the month of August. Of course, this is just the first group, 14 hours from now. So actually not even that long. We will be seeing Group C as well. It'll be TY, Parting, Armani, and Patience. So we'll have some more high-level Korean StarCraft 2 to present. And then, of course, next weekend as well, we'll be adding in 8 more players. Solar, Zest, Ragnarok, Time, Innovation, Rogue, Bunny, and Nice. So lots and lots of great StarCraft coming at you. So, of course, check out the calendar on Liquipedia to keep informed. Exclamation point B in the chat will give you specific information about this event, where you can see not only today's Group B matchups and results, but you can also take that quick peek at the upcoming groups that I just pitched to you. So because of that, very important to utilize those codes. Exclamation point Match Reno in the chat. Please do utilize that ITaX Pro 3, if I remember correctly. Pro Circuit. There we go. Yo, what's up, Landfear? Also, once again, everybody, thank you so much for hanging out here. You make this caster's heart just so warm, being here to support Alpha X and our Into the Alpha X Pro Circuit. Hopefully everybody is enjoying today's cast here. Dream getting a little aggressive here with his bio. Gonna just wiggle on in and get as much damage done as humanly possible, but some very, very good stutter micro by the Stalker. Is gonna be able to zone everything out. And one Hellion not gonna get as much damage done as long as those probes don't just line themselves up mercilessly. But it is 4 probes on the backside of this aggression here. He's going to grab Blink as well. That Warp Prism is going to enact a lot of the engagement here. And Zound going to be able to bring the pain back on Dream's side of the map. Now, it is going to be more barracks production coming out for Dream. He's not going to roll over and lose track of his production, at least not for now. But I think, yeah, this is going to be a bit of a push moment here for Zound. Okay. I just love these acceleration fields. I think they're just so funny. I know that there are a lot of pros that are like, don't make the maps weird, make them super easy. I don't know. Map makers, keep throwing in the fun stuff like that. That's what makes it interesting. My opinion only. Okay. Widowmine does connect with 2 probes in the main of Zound, so a little bit of economic damage done. Nothing really to write home about. But it's gonna be a big blink forward here. Gonna try and get on top of the bunker. Not enough DPS. It was so close. So now he's gonna just try and work down on those workers. But Dream gonna be able to hold that front door down, at least for now. More SCVs on the way. Neither player really has gone out to their 3rd base just yet. I think Dream was a little unsure of where some of the extra pieces of this Terran army were. So rotating to the top side here, it's going to be a big blink forward. The army is now out of position. Are there any tanks in this mix? No, I think it's just Raven at this point. Okay, good auto turret will provide some more damage here. There's finally 1 tank. Okay, there is a tank. So now we got 2 tanks. That will push this back far enough to keep this out of the way. Yeah, Zound will finally have to blink out and re-maneuver. He's gonna have to renegotiate this push once again, but he does rotate. He is gonna get on top of the bunker, and this time that will actually fall and go down. A couple of those Marines will get picked away at, and this could potentially pull the trigger for Zound to stay aggressive here. Great blink micro back and forth. Hitting his opponent back, and Zound feeling really confident here, getting the damage that he's hoping to get. Throws down his 3rd base. So once again, this is where the Protoss player really starts to thrive, is being able to hold his opponent to a 2-base economy. Dream is going to get his 3rd base built. But as long as Zound can keep his opponent zoned into his base. Keep him zoned into his base. Hilarious. And that's going to give Zound a lot more opportunity out onto the map. Because again, we look at the supply, and we have to keep things in consideration here. Both players playing on a similar economy right now, which is not a terrible thing. Oh, that'd be a great pickoff on that Raven. Yeah, wonderful. Great, great, great vision coverage here. 5 more workers going to go down. As long as Zound can keep his production cycles going, he'll be in a good position, but Dream's actually going to move out here. He's got 3 tanks. He's got a decent amount of bio. This could get scary, so immediately you start seeing these warp-ins happening here. Colossus in production as well. These Stalkers trying to buy as much time as humanly possible. 1 Colossus is already on the field, so that does make a big difference. And now Zound can just jump forward on top of this army here. Big blink gonna get on top of these tanks. One of the tanks already down. That last tank on the back end will immediately get picked off. Yeah, I was gonna say there were 3 tanks, but 1 tank just left behind in case it was needed for the retreat. And in this case, that retreat was not gonna be effective. Stalkers are going to be able to arrive at the front of the natural, and only a couple of tanks at the 3rd base to provide coverage, but I think it might be enough. Extended Thermal Lance now just going to finish up for Zound. And he's going to have to respect that and wait, so he's going to back off. But back off doesn't mean playing non-aggressively. He's going to grab that 4th base, keep things moving in this game. And we've got ourselves a nice little elimination match here. This is just game number 1, and both of these players playing rather scrappy.
Game 4.
Okay. He knew, he knew with the quick tactical pause. That's okay, that happens. I'm sure we all have embarrassing stories of competitive moments where something goes a little haywire. Okay, disruptors being added into the mix. No disruptors just yet. It's only 3 Colossus. This is a bit of a scary moment here. I was gonna say, Dream's gonna see those workers filtering over to the right-hand side, and that 4th base is immediately gonna come under fire. Zound has to do something about that. First disruptor shot's gonna get on top of the tank. The tank is gonna get whittled down, but unfortunately not gonna be able to pick that off. This base will fall, and with it, more than likely, all of those workers. They're gonna try and evacuate, but I'm not sure what's gonna get done here. Now, 12 workers did get killed. I think it was just a part of this pull. Dream getting so much work done. Now we look at the supply here, and we start to see a concerning position for Zound. Now, however, the economic advantage is still kind of evened out. 11 workers did finally go down, though. Zound's big investment was to try and get to that 4th base economy before his opponent really could get his sunk into the ground. But now Dream going to have a 4th base economy about at the same time as his opponent. And he's got the army advantage. That makes a huge difference in this scenario. The only upside here is Zound has been able to hang on to his high value units, but I don't know if that's going to be enough to justify the cost of this push. Especially when Dream gonna take a giant drop here, just pick off the 4th base and push back. That's so frustrating for Zound. Zound in a spot where he's got to find a way to do something about that drop. He can't just constantly lose that 4th base. He could choose to build over here, and I'm not sure why he hasn't considered that at this point. Okay, now he is going to finally move that out. But Dream going to be able to land his 4th base here. Zound in a world of hurt. He's down 30 army supply. He's down in economy. I mean, the worker count is up. He's going to hold on to it for a brief amount of time. But being down a whole base to your opponent, not good in the long term. All right, Dark Shrine on the way. This is definitely a when behind moment. And now we're gonna see Dream mostly maxed out here, splitting up his forces. How is Zound gonna be able to deal with this? I mean, the majority of his army is up here on the top right-hand side. One Marine going to show himself there, but now it's going to be a larger force. This is going to be a very quick stim forward. Oh, if he picks this base off. Oh, and that's actually a full kill. That is not a cancel. So Zound loses the 400 minerals to build that Nexus. He's going to lose 10 pro. He's going to try once again to throw that base down. Now, this is a good disruptor shots. Do connect with a good chunk of that force, but there's just nothing. There's nothing to really stop Dream from moving across the map with everything he's got, and he's going to be able to stim down all of those disruptors. Zound slip sliding here in game number 1, losing his footing and not finding a way to hold the fort. And Dream is just playing very patiently here. He is going to max himself out on army supply. I mean, he's almost up double, 66 to 129. He is over double the army supply of Zound. If he can just get all of his units collaborated together, I mean, this is all just going to fall over. All right, 2-2, 3-3. 3-3 on the way. Zound knows it's coming, but Zound doesn't have a whole lot that can stop this force, especially not when a DT runs into a scannable zone. Yep, Dream gonna rotate to the left here. This should be a bit of an all-in situation here for Zound. Zound's got to hold this down. He cannot afford to lose this base one more time. Big Blake forward, gonna try and get on top of those Vikings. Now some great shots by the Disruptors get on top of those tanks, and the tanks do end up falling. Extended Thermal Lance gonna do some work here, but unfortunately not a whole lot to hold the rest of this back. This Bioforce will be able to do enough damage, and Dream holding his own here in game number 1, playing his quick but steady style. GG. So Zound still looking for a way to get himself back into this game here. It's a best of 3, so Zound's got an opportunity to win 2 in a row to bring himself back in. But he's got to find a way to maximize the situation. Whew. So this becomes a bit of a tricky situation here. Zound on the verge of elimination. What map are we going to go to next? Guess we're going to find out. It's Pillars of Gold. Thanks for dropping that exclamation point B in the chat. Check out that Liquipedia, folks. There's a whole bunch of great information out there. All 400 of you people watching today, thank you so much for joining. I hope you guys are enjoying the broadcast here. You guys are watching the Into the Alpha X Pro Circuit number 3. My name is Rushy. We're on game number 2 of the elimination match between Zound and Dream. Dream up 1-0. If you are enjoying the cast, please do consider giving us a follow. We've got all sorts of great StarCraft 2 content at the tippy-top tier. Being brought to you here on Twitch. Of course, we utilize lots of different platforms. So, of course, check out our social media up above here. You can catch us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. If you are watching VODs, maybe you can't catch all the Korean content while it is being streamed live. And, of course, check out our YouTube where we post most, if not all, of the content here that we provide here at Alpha X. So, if you are watching live, thanks for being here. It makes it a lot of fun to cast to a great group of people. Use those Matcherino codes. I can't stress that enough. Use them, use them, use them. Exclamation point Matcherino in the chat. In fact, you know what? I got you. I got you. Got you. Click that link. Type in the code ITaX Pro Circuit 3. You know if this game's going to take 30 seconds to warm up. Why not warm up that prize pool for our players by typing in that code? Spawning in the bottom left-hand corner. It's our red Protoss player. He's down 0-1. Needs to win 2 in a row if he wants to advance on to the decider match. Play against SOS. Playing for Alpha X. Give it up for Zound. And spawning in the top right, our blue Terran player. 1 win away from moving on to face off against SOS and provide our 5th TVP in a row. Playing for Brave Star Gaming. Give it up for Dream. Very quick gateway expand. Interesting stuff here. How does Zound? So Zound gonna opt for a less aggressive approach here in map number 2 here. Tournament life on the line. Can he dial up something a little bit different to keep himself in a competitive standpoint? Sound? Sound. This looks like a proxy Stargate location. And I think his opponent would not see it coming if all of a sudden he showed up and went, wait, he went Nexus. He went Gateway Expand. I got time to breathe. But wouldn't it be fascinating if Dream did the same silly thing? What do we have going on here, boys? Oh, actually, Zound. Could this possibly be a proxy Dark Shrine? I mean, he's got to throw down a pylon if it's going to be anything. But the starport's going to be coming down here for Dream. I actually kind of like this. Okay, Adept's going to get some more work done. How many kills does that have? Only one so far. It is going to get picked off. Still nothing down here in the lower right, but a starport is on the way for Dream. More than likely going to be a Banshee. Very well possibly could be a Liberator. I don't see anything. Oh, it's going to be a medevac. Really? Okay. I find that interesting. Stalkers are going to be able to zone this back. Some very quick Sim City thinking. I'm going to keep this on the interesting side. Is he going to be able to roast that? He will. And there's going to be more Hellions coming on the way here. These are going to have to get pulled off of the line. Oh, all of those probes get lined up almost beautifully. Some very, very good probe micro, though. Backs this Hellion into a corner. Only getting one kill. So now, what's the medevac for? Dream? Dream, I'm confused here. I'm a bit confused here. Okay, so he is going to go just for a Hellion drop, but I think Zound has done a really nice job of mitigating this so far. I mean, he's going to have his upgrades. We do have the Hellion drop coming in here, but it's only 2 Hellions at this point. Some great damage mitigation here. Beautiful force field will keep that in place. Blink is going to show itself, and suddenly those Stalkers getting some good defensive value. But for the most part, this has been scouted. We gonna thank you. I'm like, I only hotboxed that like 3 or 4 times. Zound's going to get aggressive here. He is already out onto his 3rd Nexus. The 3rd command center for Dream is incoming. 1 Liberator will do its best to try and zone out more probe kills. And this continues to move its way into more aggression by our Red Protoss player. All right, charge is now complete. It's going to be a few more gateways. Zound is going to be the one that gets aggressive here very, very soon. And of course, he is ahead on his economic advantage. He's going to start pulling that into his favor. He will be able to warp in a lot of units here, and he's going to need to. I mean, Dream's got a force here to be reckoned with. He's going to push out with a good chunk of bio. Are the tanks on the way? Nope, it looks, well, okay. Now, finally. Tanks are gonna be coming as a part of this. Ooh, these stalkers do need to be careful. They are gonna try and zone out this army as much as humanly possible. But it is gonna be positioning at the third base, making this a defensible position for Dream. Now, Zaun's gonna see all of this. He has the information he needs. Now it's a matter of working with what he's got. Okay, Warp Prism's going to start preparing for the drop in the main. We got a robotics bay on the way as well. Kind of thought Zaun might actually go for the aggression, but just gonna opt for the drop at some point. If there's a mod, is it okay to spoil today's GSL results? I would love to avoid spoilers if at all possible. I know GSL only happened just a few hours ago. Those VODs aren't even 24 hours fresh yet. So I'd say avoid it if it's possible. That way we don't have somebody in chat that just like flips their desk. It's like, ah! I didn't know that Cyril won 6-0 in the GSL Grand Finals against Raynor. StarCraft player one. Ugh, low. Oh, I can't believe it. Wow. Get this guy out of here. Of course, if people watching the VOD have any insight on this, of course, they're probably going like, oh, Rushy, I mean, it's been weeks since GSL happened. Of course, everybody knows that Cyril beat Raynor in the grand finals. All right, this is getting to be a bit of a scary moment here for Zaun. Dream's going to show up with a pretty decent army supply here. The tanks are in a pretty good position here. As long as Dream can maintain the high ground vision, he will be able to paint a lot of targets. And those disruptors will not be as effective. They have to get way too close if they're going to try and pop on top of tanks. Now, Zaun is holding his own in a pretty decent fashion. Oh, on the back side of this, nice Zealot run by creates a little bit of problems here. 4 workers have gone down for Dream. Those disruptors finally getting on top of valuable targets, but Dream keeps those tanks alive. As long as the tanks can live, they will remain to be a force to be reckoned with. About the only thing that's unfortunate for Dream is that the tanks are not in position to take down this Nexus. But I think Dream might take one last big stim here and get on top of it. It's so close. It does fall. That is going to limit Dream. The Viking's going to get on top of the Colossus as well. Suddenly we have ourselves an interesting game. Dream with a significant army advantage, but Zaun with a significant worker advantage. So the one thing for Dream that he's got going for him is that the worker advantage is not very important if for some reason there's no fourth base to work with. That's a giant blink forward. All the tanks are going to get cleaned up. All of these workers are going to be avenged. And Dream is going to have to fly back home. Now, Dream's in a really rough position. Are we going to see another Game 3 today? I mean, these are so well balanced. I mean, even SOS felt like had some really even games. Oh man, look at all the spoilers in chat. I can't believe that you would spoil the fact that at the 20-minute mark, Kerrigan's just gonna drop into the center of the map and win the game for Zerg. Chat, you disgusted me. How can we complain about Zerg being OP if Zerg's not in the game? Answer. Put Zerg in the game. Even just one. Like one Zergling gets dropped in the center and picks off a Zealot as it's in retreat. It's like, ah! Zerg is so imba! Help. Help, please. David Kim, come out of retirement. We need you. Please adjust the bunker build time by 0.1 seconds and break the game again. All right, Dream's done a nice job here. He's built himself a little bit of a wall, at least buys him a tiny bit of time. Does allow the army to rotate over to help. There's nothing on Zaun's side of the map, though, and Dream really needs to start hitting economic targets of Zaun if he wants to get back into this game. Zaun already down to his 4th base replaced. His 5th base was his 4th base, now being replaced as well. And if Zaun is left to his devices, I mean, he's just going to run away with us. Dream going to do Terran things. He's going to try and hit in 2 places at once. The question is whether or not he has enough army here to face off against this army of Zaun. I'm not certain that that's the case. So it does look like the two armies are actually going to converge on one another and assist. I think Dream realized, like, oh, I'm not sure. I think I need everything here. The Disruptors do get caught out here, but a couple of good shots do paint some bio targets. Really good engagement here by Zaun. We'll be able to get on top of a lot of the bio of Dream. The tanks are back far enough. They're not quite effective. Once again, the Vikings do a nice job of zoning. And Dream able to cancel the 5th base of Zaun. We now see enhanced shockwaves being added into the research mix, now being complete here. Some great disruptor shots get down on all of the tanks. All the tanks immediately get picked off. Dream is left with only bio, and he cannot continue sieging. He has got to back off. Zaun, once again, showing this in his first series. I mean, he can sit and defend, and if he plays his game and he slows down, he too can hang on. Okay, right now, Zaun in an okay position upgrade-wise. I mean, he's got his +3 attack. The Forge is going to be researching shield upgrades and more shield upgrades and armor upgrades, excuse me. All right, no 5th base at the regular location, so that is going to force Dream to a big drop here in the main. Is he going to recall? No, he looks like he's just going to walk some stalkers back. I think it's going to come at the cost of a lot of damage. Okay, so Medevacs getting picked off. But even these Warpins are not going to be as effective. 1 DT able to get some work done, but an easy scan. Gets on top of it. Dream getting a ton of damage done, and now he's going to start picking off these valuable buildings. Templar Archives are gone. No more Archons. No more Psystorm. And Dream is going to capitalize on the other side of the map as well. Disruptor shots getting on top of tanks. Once again, those tanks immediately gone. It's just bio. And now the bio has been cornered, so it's going to try and take as much as he possibly can. 10 workers go down. A Nexus is going to go down. The main has finally been vacated, but at the cost of some valuable tech buildings. But there's no There's no ground forces left here. If he can continue to dodge disruptor shots, he'll be able to clean this up, and Dream snatches victory from the jaws of defeat. Zound unable to hold on, and Dream gets out 2-0 in the elimination match. Whew, that kind of turned on its head rather quick. Dream looking like he was going to have to take a game number 3, but able to get on top of his opponent, get enough damage done in the main, and struck in the heart of his economy. And with that, Zound has been eliminated. No. Ah. Unfortunate scenario for our Alpha X player. He's been eliminated from Group B. And that's going to move us into the decider match. Going to be Dream versus SOS. That should be an interesting rematch here. Now, SOS took a very clean 2-0 over his opponent. We'll have to see what Dream can dream up against his Protoss foe. We're going to run one more ad, folks. Of course, we have some great sponsors that help keep Alpha X on the up and up and providing all sorts of great content for you. And one of them is Lenovo. So we're going to go ahead and run our Lenovo ad for you. Then we'll take a quick break. In the meantime, though, check out that Matcherino, !Matcherino in the chat. Please do help us out by using those codes. Feel free to check out the bracket. You can see the Liquipedia article right there. And we will be back soon. Everyone, you are watching the Into the Alpha X Pro Circuit 3 Group B, featuring Zound, Cure, SOS, and Dream. And my name is Rushy. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back right after this short break. My name is Rushy, and thanks for watching our StarCraft 2 content brought to you by Alpha X. Productions like this are made possible by support from our sponsors, like Lenovo. In 2020, Lenovo is committed to supporting online gaming communities and events. Their partnerships with brands like TSM, Apex Legends, and NRG are just the start of this commitment. The new Lenovo Legion gaming community is your place to go for exclusive streams, weekly giveaways, staff access, and so much more. Right now, Lenovo is doing a weekly giveaway of their Legion gaming accessories. Enter weekly for a chance to win one of their prize bundles, including the Legion K200 keyboard, M500 gaming mouse, and H300 stereo gaming headset. Support us by going to our event page for the Lenovo sponsor quest to get started, and keep heading back to gaming.lenovo.com for more chances to win while learning from the pros. Thank you for supporting Alpha X, and thank you for considering checking out our awesome sponsors. Now, let's head back to the action. All right, folks, welcome back here to the decider match of Group B of the Into the Alpha X Pro Circuit number 3. My name is Rushy. So glad that you are all able to be here. We are one matchup away from the end of today's production. So, oh, that's a goof. That's a goof. We forgot to check our races before we jumped in. Let's see. Train of thought, Rushy. Train of thought. Yes! So this is our last matchup here before the end of our production today. So please do check exclamation point Matcherino in the chat. I'm gonna go look at this and see how many of your wonderful faces. Oh my gosh, look at all these coupons. Look at them all. You are all wonderful. Thank you so much. Of course, should reach out and say thank you to Black Dragon for the direct $20 contribution. That is awesome. We are so grateful. Once again, thank you everyone for taking advantage of these coupons. If you have not already done so and you would like to, please do consider clicking the link in the chat. The code you need to use is ITaX Pro Circuit 3. It adds 50 cents to the prize pool. Absolutely no cost to you. Very, very important that you consider checking that out if you can. Thank you so much for giving that some thought. We are in and ready to go for our final best of 3. It's going to be Dream versus SOS, and I'm going to have myself ready to go before it begins. What? No way. They said it was impossible, but I've done it. Alrighty, folks. Spawning in the bottom left of Pillars of Gold. It's our blue Terran player playing for Brave Star Gaming. Give it up for Dream. And spawning in the top right, our red Protoss playing for Junior Green Wings. Give it up for SOS. Well. What you gonna build? Another gateway? Oh yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be another gateway. SOS gonna make himself move quickly here once again. Keeping us all on our toes. Wait a minute. What? I wasn't watching. Why did he cancel that? I'm actually really confused right now. I wasn't watching that closely. I was cleaning something up here. Huh? This is like, I'm actually trying to figure this out as well. I'm not gathering what's happening here. Is this the ultimate fake? Because right now, he's proxied out onto the map. Dream is desperately looking for this proxy, and he's gonna find the pylon. But he's not gonna see anything. So now, Dream has got to be going, well, wait a minute. What? Yeah, like this is got to be confusing. SOS! What a god! I mean, Dream is going to invest so much into trying to figure out what is actually happening here. But in fact, he is going to just get into a Natural at his third? Yeah, he's gonna just get a scout off on the base here. Huh. I mean, I think he had all of us fooled. But SOS gonna feel really comfortable with what he's doing here because he is committing into it. He's got that probe production, not production, probe production. And it's now more stonkers on the way. Robotics facility incoming. This is turning into like the weirdest and normal game that I think I've seen SOS play in a while. Gotta give him credit. He keeps everybody on our toes, even the caster. I would agree with you. Totally a girl. I think it was partially just a scare dream. And SOS is a legend. Maybe a legend in his own mind sometimes. But a legend nonetheless. Dream's gonna come up here with an SCV, try and get more information about the state of affairs in SOS's base. That's fair. I will respect that. Never question SOS. He is at least 3 times the combined IQ of everyone here. Deal. I respect that in a large way. Why did SOS expand here? The mind games. So of course you're seeing SOS all the way out at the third base location, and actually probably not even the best third base location for a Protoss player. But started by proxying a gateway, canceled it halfway through, and dropped this to just for the mind games. But now it is going to be a pretty standard stalker blink timing. 1 tank, 2 tank. Yeah, this is well fortified. Dream is prepared. He's going to be able to anchor that down. SOS is not going to be able to engage on top of this just yet. But more than anything, he's just going to try and zone out his opponent and keep him from taking a third base. Okay, more stalkers gonna move out to join the zoning force of SOS. See those Colossus accruing in numbers. What do we have going here? A little bit of a drop. Nothing outstanding. The tank coverage for Dream is going to be really strong here at the natural. Charge is just about done as well. Oh, is he going to be able to snag that? Does he know it's coming? Oh, he sees it. Big blink. Going to be able to pick that off. That's a great grab. Dream's got to be really frustrated by that. That proxy pylon from minute 1 now finally gets cleaned up. Dream no longer has to worry about the proxy here. And for once, I'm actually kind of worried for SOS. I mean, SOS is in a position here where he's kind of gotten a little creative. It's come at a cost. And I think Dream has some siege options to be able to make the most of this type of push. So we're going to have to see what actually comes to fruition here. All right, This is exactly what needs to happen, though. Dream is going to have to deal with this on the backside. And in fact, all of these Zealots are going to be able to get into the natural. The wall just remains down at this point. Tank's going to get cleaned up. 15 workers get picked off. Good splitting on those Zealots. And this is where SOS is going to shine here. I didn't bring everything. Oh, imagine if he sandwiches this army. Imagine what he can get accomplished here. 23 workers already killed. He's already accomplished so much. Of course, if we look at the units lost tab, it's unfortunately underneath the income advantage graph, Dream has lost a fair amount off of all of this. Why are Zealots so tanky? They cost a lot of money. They get to be tanky. They're chonky boys. I mean, look at that. Look at those side blades. Look at those legs. Look at those colossi. Dang, look at the legs on that colossi. Okay. Got weirder than I wanted it to be. That's my bad. All right. SOS now in a very strong position. I know how I said only minutes ago that I was concerned that SOS was not going to do as well here in game number 1. But now here we are. Dream's gonna try and posture while a 4th base starts coming underway for SOS. Meanwhile, 4th base not in production here for Dream. Dream falling behind just a little bit, coming at the cost of sacrifice. But somehow, I don't know how, somehow, SOS has made Dream pay for his decision to just play safe and get up into a nice full army count. Thanks everybody for all the follows. Really do appreciate all of that support. 400 amazing people watching some of this great StarCraft 2 content. Thank you so much for supporting ITaX. This is a scary position for Dream to be in here. A lot of his zoning force is actually gone. It is going to get some good damage done, but at some point you've got to have something to deal with this army. Where are the Zealot Warpins at home? There are none at this point. Tanks are going to be able to siege up in a great position here. That's going to completely keep SOS from being able to defend his 4th base efficiently. 14 workers have gotten killed off, though. I think if Dream can't hold here, he's going to have to go into game number 2. And now the Zealots have been added to the mix. They're going to push on forward. Oh, it's such a good positioning by SOS. He's able to get on top of all of these tanks. Extended thermal lance is going to be so strong. Dream gets bullied around, and SOS with the mind games in game number 1 keeps his opponent guessing and gets us into our next game. SOS has just played such a clean, consistent game today. Keeping his opponents guessing. Oh. So it was basically playing with him at this point. I mean, he was playing with fire a little bit in a couple of moments, but definitely exercising his confidence in this matchup for sure. That's going to bring us to game number 2. It's going to be on Death Aura. SOS 1 win away from moving out in 2nd place and advancing to our next group stage. But can Dream wrestle this one back? Folks, this may be our last game for today. If you haven't already, check out that Matcherino, !Matcherino in the chat. Use that code, ITaX Pro Circuit 3. Add 50 cents to the prize pool for absolutely no cost to you. So very important that we do that. Help us out with that, folks. We would really appreciate it. It's just one of many ways that you too can save StarCraft and be a hero in 2020. Everybody always wants to be the Avenger. They just want to know how to make themselves a superhero. Well, here's your this is your chance. This is your way. It's up to you to decide. Do you want to take up the call? Spawning in the top left of Death Aura. It's our blue Terran player. Playing for Brave Star Gaming. Needs to win 2 in a row if he wants to advance out of the decider match in Group B. Give it up for Dream. And spawning in the bottom right, our red Protoss. 1 win away from advancing to our second group stage sometime next week. Playing for Jin Air Green Wings. Give it up for SOS. Once again, folks, everybody, thank you so much for all the follows. Thank you for the subscriptions. SindBG, thank you for the raid. Welcome, everybody, from Sind's stream, even if it's just him alone. We've got some outstanding members of the StarCraft community here watching this opening group of the Into the Alpha X Pro Series. We've had 21 new followers today alone, which is really exciting to see. Very glad that you could be a part of today's event. Of course, this is not the only group in our 16 oh no into our 16 member series. Of course, in about 14 hours from now, we will be seeing Group C taking place for this event. And we got a lot more great StarCraft 2 content coming your way right here at twitch.tv/alphaxsc2. For giving us that follow, we'll just let you know when we go live with more amazing content. But of course, this content's not quite done. We have to see if SOS can get creative one last time and advance out of this group, or if Dream is going to be the nightmare to SOS's plan. Rather conservative start to this game here. Marines will be able to get on top of this Adept. The Adept will not be able to scout. In fact, it will get sent all the way back home. 2 Hellions and 4 Marines here will be kind of a scary force. There is a shield battery, so not going to be a difficult hold for SOS. We see Stim on the way as well. Phoenix production here for SOS is starting to multiply, so this will become a bit of a good situation to play from as SOS. Robotics facility on the way. That Phoenix production is not going to be endless. Looks like it is going to be done at 4. Kind of love all of the different flight paths here. And we have just the Phoenix in the middle, just pirouetting. pretty on its toes. Not exactly sure what the two players are talking about here. I like to think that they're discussing strategy. Oh. SOS wondering where the attack is coming from. I think SOS is playing with a little bit of BM. This is just terrible for Dream. This is terrible. He loses 5 workers. He's gonna lose the medevac. The drop he's been building up for has been deflected. These two are kind of going back and forth here. A little bit of silliness in this game, but it's gonna be more workers. So many SCVs picked off here. 12 for the cost of what? 1 Phoenix? Chad, I don't know if I have to explain that too deeply, but anytime you're losing 12 workers to 1 Phoenix, not a good trade for you. But now Dream's gonna try and change that at least a little bit. Unable to make that happen. It's just going to be it's just going to be a big push here. Can we get a shout out to Inu, by the way? Inu's our Korean caster who is not only casting their own event, but providing quality translation for us on the backside of this. Amazing. Absolutely wonderful. We are not worthy of Inu's skills and abilities here. So, unfortunately for Dream, I mean, he just keeps getting squashed at every turn. Of course, SOS has somehow managed to get an observer into his main undetected. And makes that scouting so much easier. He knows that his opponent is taking gases at the 3rd. He has an idea of what could potentially be coming here. This drop has been deflected once again. Unfortunately, despite Dream's best efforts, continues to fall short here. 1-1 on the way. 1-1-1 actually. I mean, I feel like SOS just has like the IQ level right now where he's able to see in between like a fold of the space-time continuum, and he's actually just like gathering information from the future. Because he's just doing a very nice job of staying on top of all of the pressure here. But now with extended thermal lance done, we see +1 already finished as well. Stalkers are working on blink tech as we speak. There was a medevac here. Did that medevac get picked off? I think it might have. This is looking grim here for Dream. SOS able to get on top of this army. So many extended thermal lance shots getting on top of all of this bio. The bio actually gets all choked up. all of these workers are going to have to be pulled off of 2 worker lines. These Colossi have so much room to breathe. Now Vikings will be able to help deal a little bit of defense. These workers, though, I mean, are going to get all just destroyed. Dream unable to hold it here. And unfortunately, we'll have to tap out. GG is called, and SOS with the big brain plays moving out of this group in 2nd place. Very, very well played by all 4 of our players. 5 PVTs in a row. I'm like a PVT expert now. So that's going to do it today for Group B. We have Cure and SOS advancing out of Group B. But of course, folks, we have so much more to offer from this tournament. In just under 14 hours, we will be seeing Group C taking place. Same time, same place. Well, not same time, excuse me. In about 14 hours. So, 7 o'clock? Central European? I really don't know what that is in Korean. Actually a good question. Should be like midday, right? Something like that? Like 2, 3 o'clock? It's 2 p.m. Korean. I see it. We're going to go ahead and put that up here on the exit. Yeah. Alrighty. So, folks, that is going to do it. That's going to do it for me in today's setup. We have all sorts of good stuff. We're going to see TY, Parting, Armani, and Patience coming up in about 14 hours. So, but for today's production, that is going to do it. One last time opportunity, exclamation point match arena in the chat. Please do check out that link before you move on your way. We are going to be hosting Creighton in just a little bit of time. We're going to show you the awesome graphic setup for tomorrow. Encourage you to come back for that. But as for today's event, things are going to be done for today. Folks, thanks so much for watching. My name is Rushy. You can find me at twitch.tv/RushySC. In fact, I will go ahead and say hi in the chat. If you want to click my name, give me a follow. I'd certainly appreciate it. Of course, you can always give me a follow or subscribe if you really like my casting. I'm just a guy. I'm just a guy that really likes StarCraft. So if you want to support what's happening in my world, of course, I'd be very appreciative of that. You can also find me at twitter.com/RushySC if you want more info on when I go live and other events that I cast here for Alpha X. But for now, thanks everyone for watching. We look forward to seeing you in Group C of this upcoming event. And of course, we want you to check out all of the great content here at Alpha X. Check out our social media up top. Check out our YouTube for all sorts of great VODs of great high-tier StarCraft 2 action. From all of us here at Alpha X, thanks so much for watching. Have a great morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are.